Into the men's game, Essex have lost the toss. Sussex have elected to bowl first, and the headlines for Essex: no Sam Cook in the bowling unit. He has a fractured wrist. There is a debut in the T20 Blast for Simon Fernandez, who's been going well in the seconds, and he comes in to the side to get their opener against Sussex underway, with commentary on the BBC Sport website and app coming up from 7.
Wearing 74, it's a warm welcome to Vian Mulder. Batting at 6.
Well, it's felt a funny week, isn't it? A week is a long time in football, and on Sunday we were there at Wembley celebrating an FA Trophy win for Southend United, and then by Tuesday evening we were talking about the departure of Kevin Mayer as head coach. And like you say, Warren, I've followed BBC Essex Sport for a long time. I remember the days with Kevin Mayer as captain of Southend United, and for all he did on the pitch there, and the club, I can't even tell you how bad things were at the club when he came back as head coach, and all the things there were to cope with behind the scenes when he came into his first managerial job. So I think maybe a little bit, and I think Glenn Pennyfather said this as well, the writing maybe was on the wall slightly with the restructure that Southend United have been going through this season, with bringing in a director of football, knowing that they were changing the recruitment structure as well. It's always going to be difficult to work in a different structure, and you've got to make sure your director of football and your head coach or your manager are aligned in that sense. So whether there'd been conversations already about how that relationship or dynamic was going to work, but ultimately, as Justin Rees has said, they finished 25 or 20 odd points off York, who went up as the champions, that one automatic promotion place. It is so hard to get out of the National League, and that is the ultimate goal for Southend United. So I think only time will tell really if this is the right decision. A big risk to get rid of your head coach, not just in quick succession after that FA Trophy win, but with a summer of big recruitment for that football department to do as well. So whether there'll be instant success, whether it'll be a longer term project, we'll have to wait and see whether that pays off. But certainly interesting times for Southend United. No, leave us on there. And is the web feed all still dialed up? Yeah. Yeah. So there's another feed that's sending this to an ISDN. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Leave all that. That's absolutely fine. Thank you. Cheers. Bye. good evening to you from a glorious Chelmsford where the sun has been shining all afternoon, and now we've got that early evening sunshine around the Ambassador Cruise Line ground. The atmosphere has been building. We've already seen a great game of cricket for Essex women earlier on today, beating Warwickshire by 7 wickets. A impressive batting display from Essex, and in particular high-scoring Cordelia Griffith and Lissy McLeod leading Essex to that victory. And it's now time for the opening game of the T20 Blast for the men. Essex taking on Sussex here at Chelmsford. I'm Victoria Polly from BBC Essex alongside Adrian Harms, our Sussex colleague. Later on, James Patient as well alongside us from BBC Essex. And we might have a few special guests along the way. But evening to you, Adrian.
Hello, Victoria. Lovely to see you. And I have to say, apart from the traffic getting here, I love coming to this ground. I think it's just a great ground. You know, you're right on top of the play here. As you were saying, it's a full house tonight, and it's always a brilliant atmosphere. And every time I come here, the sun shines as well. So
I was thinking that it's often a really nice Friday night of weather when Sussex are in town. Our umpires are making their way out. Hassan Adnan and Ben Debenham leading the way to the middle. The news from the middle is that Sussex won the toss and have elected to bowl first. So let me just tell you about the Essex team. The headlines for you is that Sam Cook is not involved. He has fractured a wrist in training, so he wasn't part of the squad. Zomakhtar has returned from injury. He does line up for Essex. Charlie Bennett makes just a second appearance in the T20 Blast. And there is a debut as well for Simon Fernandez, who comes into the side. So the Essex team looks like this: Paul Walter, Michael Pepper, Matt Critchley, Luke Benkenstein, Vianne Moulder, Noah Thane, Simon Harmer the captain, Simon Fernandez, Shane Snater, Zomakhtar and Charlie Bennett. And do you want to tell us about the Sussex team, who are just out there in a huddle at the moment, Adrian?
yes, they are. So quite a few changes from the county championship side. 5 players who haven't figured so far this season. Tamal Mills, the skipper, who only plays in T20 cricket. Brad Curry, the left-arm seamer, comes into the side. He was away with Scotland earlier on this week over in Nepal. So I hope that Brad's not too jet lagged. Danny Briggs makes a welcome return for Sussex, having spent some time with Warwickshire over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Danny Lamb gets the first outing of the season, the all-rounder. And Tom Alsop comes in batting at number 4. He's been out with a calf injury so far this season. So a few changes from the T20. No Ollie Robinson. Ollie obviously off to England, and with that first test match very much in mind. Tom Price is still recovering from the ankle injury he sustained at Headingley earlier on this season.
Essex opening with Paul Walter and Michael Pepper. They have experimented with that opening pair in recent seasons. Paul Walter has been a mainstay, but he's had various different partners at the top of the order as Essex try and find that right combination. Having finished bottom of the South Group last season, they'll be looking for better fortunes this time round. It will be Brad Curry to open the bowling from the Sir Alistair Cook end. He is into the left-handed Walter, who slaps that one through the offside, and that will be a boundary to start the innings from Paul Walter.
Well, that was a bit of a loosener, wasn't it, from Brad Curry outside of the off stump, and with only 2 men allowed outside of the 30-yard circle. That was absolutely hammered away. And I have to say, as with most outfields, there hasn't been a lot of rain. I don't know about in this part of the world, Victoria, but that just whizzed across the outfield.
Yeah, probably Tuesday was the last time we had some persistent rain, but certainly from what we saw earlier in the women's game, once that ball hits the outfield, it did really race along. So off the mark after the first ball, Paul Walter with the boundary. Essex have 4 on the board as Curry is in over the wicket, and that one is just dabbed into the offside by Walter, who trots through for a single. See Brad Curry being away with Scotland. He'd probably know Mackenzie Jones, yes. Essex's teenager, very well, involved or named in the squad, but not part of the starting lineup tonight for Essex.
Brad had his hair sort of bleached in the World Cup. I'm not sure if it's still the same colour or not, but I mean these cricketers, they do get about, don't they? I mean in Nepal, and yes. I mean that was certainly, I think it was a game on Tuesday, so he's had a quick turnaround.
Yeah, no rest, and I can see that blonde just growing out with the darker underneath as Curry is in to Pepper, who faces his first ball, and that'll be a boundary. He was trying to turn that one down towards fine leg. Not sure how much he got hold of it, but it's raced away for another 4 runs.
Yeah, my feeling was, had he not got a nick on that, I think it might have gone for a wide anyway. Victoria, so not the greatest of starts for Sussex. I see Tamal Mills just coming over and having a quick word with Brad Curry, and Tamal going through a bit of a warm-up as well, so I'm assuming that he's going to open the bowling from the far end.
9 without loss for Essex as Curry is into Pepper. His appeal for a strike on the pads. It was only really Curry who went up for it.
It's terrific, isn't it, though, to see the ground absolutely full, and I think every time I've been here, it's always full, and it always gets a bit noisy the more the evening goes on as well.
The Chelmsford crowd can get a bit rowdy on a Friday night, but honestly, when the weather is like this, when there is cricket on, there's nowhere else I'd rather be on a Friday night, I don't think.
And you're right on top of the play as well, which is what I really enjoy about this ground.
Yeah, and we're looking just slightly to our left, where Curry is bowling, and that one's slashed through the offside by Pepper. There is a man out in the deep though, so it will just be the single. Takes Essex into double figures, 10 without loss, and just a change in the field for the left-right combination between Walter and Pepper.
And a good win in the Championship for Essex coming to this game as well. They bowled Leicestershire up for 60 earlier on this week.
Yeah, it was a fantastic day on Sunday of cricket here, with Essex taking those wickets and limiting Leicestershire and then chasing that down. As Curry is in and Walter has gone high, he hasn't got enough on that. I think it might drop safely though, it does drop between 2 fielders as they come back for 2. Maybe a slight let up off for Essex, not timed by Walter, he didn't completely get hold of that one. He gets away with it though. Essex 12 without loss after the first over.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's a relatively short boundaries here at Chelmsford, but it went high rather than long, but it dropped somewhere in front of Tom Clark, who I would say is probably the best fielder in the Sussex side, coming off of that leg side boundary. No chance of a chance though. Let's see who it is going to be. Tamal Mills, back to his roots here. Tamal, it's where he began his career. So Sussex with a slip in place. That's Jack Leaning. Danny Briggs fielding in that position that inevitably Danny Briggs seems to field, either at short fine leg or backward point. And great to see him back in a Sussex shirt. But it is going to be Tamal Mills. Now, is that the Hayes close end, or has it changed its name?
It's the Graham Gooch end these days.
Right, thank you. Graham Gooch end, as in comes Mills and bowls and beats Pepper outside the off stump with a pacey delivery through to John Simpson, and there is no run. So only 2 fielders allowed outside of the 30-yard circle at this stage. There's a deep square leg and a deep backward point away to our right-hand side, who's got the benefit of being in the shade. It is the most glorious evening here at Chelmsford. Literally not a cloud in the sky. There's Tamal Mills back to his mark. So just the one slip in place. That's Jack Leaning. And Mills with that little hop and a skip, and is on his way in from the Graham Gooch end of the ground. In and bowls to Michael Pepper, and that's come off the 5-pad, I think, of Michael Pepper. It's run away for 4. Let's wait for the umpire signal. Yes, indeed, they are. I thought for a moment he was signalling he got a nick on that, and at the last moment, I think that's Ben Debenham at the far end, just changed his mind and signalled those as a leg by. So good start for Essex. 12 coming off the first over, and they all count, as they say. But just watching there, Victoria, just how quickly the ball went across the outfield.
Yeah, racing away. I just wonder, with the amount of times now Tamal Mills has played against Essex, whether he's played here more times as the opposition compared to when he started out with Essex.
I would imagine he might well have done.
Now.
He's coming into bowl to Michael Pepper. He's in bowls, and that's down the leg side, and that is signalled a wide. So the first extra of the evening gets greeted with a ripple of applause around Chelmsford. Danny Briggs goes across and has a natter to John Simpson. Quite a lot of experience in this Sussex side tonight. We've been so used over the last few seasons to seeing so many young players, by looking at John Simpson, Jack Leaning, Danny Briggs, Tamal Mills, all in their 30s. So a good amount of experience, and Daniel Hughes, of course. Here comes Mills, left arm over the wicket. bowls to Pepper, who plays this firmly away through the leg side. They've taken one, they'll think about two, but there won't be a second there to Tom Clark, who comes racing in off that leg side boundary to field. And one to Michael Pepper. He goes to 6 and Essex to 18 without loss in the second over. Sussex winning the toss, electing to bowl first. Sussex have had a good start in the county championship, and were it not for the 12 points they were deducted at the start of the season, would be joint top. And in every competition they will lose points, so they start on -2 in this competition as well. So they'll be very keen to get a result tonight and get themselves into positive territory as Mills runs in towards us to bowl to the left-handed Walter. He's in and bowls, and Walter plays that through mid-wicket. They've taken one. I think they'll think about coming back for 2. It's a good sliding stop. The throw comes in and it prevents second run being taken. Good bit of fielding out there by, I think that's Henry Crocombe, who prevents a second run being taken. Walter goes to 8 and Essex to 19 without loss. Sussex keeping that slip in place. Jack Leaning, who I'm assuming will be the other option. Well, there's 3 spin options Sussex have got really: Danny Briggs, James Coles and Jack Leaning. That's Mills. Penultimate ball of the over. In and bowls, and up on his toes is Pepper. Plays that into the offside, fielded by Tom Alsop, who's very quickly into field. And there is no run. Tom Alsop, who hasn't figured so far this season, out with a calf injury, so he would have been pushing for a place in the championship side, but hasn't so far been in contention, but he's fielding there at cover. There's a nice hubbub around the ground as spectators just down below, just shielding their eyes against the sun as Mills pauses at the end of his run. He's coming into bowl the final ball of the second over to Michael Pepper. He's in and bowls, and Pepper tries the little scoop shot. The ball goes through to John Simpson. It's a dot ball. Pepper looks at the umpire as if to say, well, wasn't that a wide? But the umpire says, no, it wasn't. So, end of the over, end of the second over, and Essex are 19 without loss. Sussex having won the toss and electing to bowl first. And it is going to be Brad Curry who is going to bowl the second over of the Essex innings, actually his second over.
We've just lost, sorry to interrupt you, Adrian, we've just lost feed on the BBC stream, so while we just quickly wait for Brad Curry to bowl this ball, I'm just going to redial the connection. I don't know why, I think it's just got hot.
Probably better the other one, isn't it?
Right, hopefully we are back with you. We've had a dot and a single so far as Michael Pepper faces, and that just comes past the outside edge of the bat and through to Simpson behind the stumps for no run. Apologies
Well
about that, Adrian. Hopefully
right.
we're back with the listeners on the BBC Sport website and app.
Don't worry, these things happen. We've had a few issues down at Hove this year with various ISDNs and all sorts of things. So
It's been quite a hot day, so sometimes our
it does.
equipment just likes to give up slightly. Brad Curry's bowling from the It's at Alistair Cook end. He's into Pepper, who
Shot.
has driven that one through the offside. It's stopped on the boundary and just kept inside the rope by the man out in the deep as they come through for 2.
Yeah, good fielder, Tom Clark. I remember here last year, actually, he got quite a lot of stick out on that. The later into the evening it went, the more stick that Tom seemed to get. But he's a very good fielder out there. This is better from Brad Curry, who was a little expensive in that opening over.
Essex 22 without loss. We've had 4 balls of this third over. As Curry is in, and that's up in the air. He hasn't caught hold of that as Pepper. He should be gone here.
Oh.
No, it's spilled.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was commentator's curse, wasn't it? Saying he's the best fielder in the Sussex side. I think he'll be disappointed about that, Tom Clark. He's very quick across the ground. I wonder if he was distracted by the fielder running towards him as well. Just see this again.
Well, it's just gone towards deep backward point, really. He was running round. He was on the run as he went to try and get that one, and it spilled out as he went to ground with it. And
I think it goes down as a chance.
So in the end, Michael Pepper gets a single.
Yeah, he made up good ground, didn't he? But
Curry is into Walter, who goes along the ground into the leg side this time. Man comes around from mid onto field, single to end with, so Walter will keep strike, and with 3 overs gone, Essex 24 without loss.
well, much better over from Brad Curry. Conceded 12 in that opening over, but that only cost 5 runs. So I think with 3 overs gone of a power play, probably about even Stevens. Essex will be pleased that they haven't lost a wicket, but I think Sussex, having conceded though rather expensive opening over, have fought back. Now I wonder whether we're going to see Jamal Moles bowl a second over, or whether we're going to get a change of bowling. I think we are going to get a change of bowling, and it looks to me, it's quite a long way in the distance, that looks to me like Henry Crocombe, who's going to come on to bowl the 4th over for Sussex. Indeed it is. Henry Crocombe, who's by far the quickest of the Sussex bowlers. He's in around the wicket, bowls to Walter, who plays this one away through the offside. He's going to get runs, the ball going out towards the extra cover boundary and picks up a boundary. There's Paul Walter, he goes to 14, and Essex to 28 without loss. When I say the quickest of the Sussex attacks, certainly in Championship cricket, probably Tamal Mills is the quickest of the Sussex bowlers in this format, but he still bowls at a lively pace, Henry Crocombe. Called up for the England Lions squad for the first class matches coming up. He's going to play one of those games as he's in again. Around the wicket, bowls short, and Walter pulls that one, fielded by Danny Briggs, who shies at the stumps at short fine leg. It's a pretty wild throw by Danny Briggs, and Michael Pepper was never in any real danger of getting run out. So another single to the total. Essex go to 29 without loss.
Yeah, we had a good view behind there, didn't we, from Briggs, so we saw that throw go in wide of the stumps.
What a great throw, was it?
No.
very, very wide of the stumps.
Apologies if you are listening to us on BBC Sport. We've had a few technical issues, but hopefully you're getting us loud and clear now.
Crocombe from the Graham Gooch end, over the wicket, bowl swung away by Michael Pepper down towards deep backward square leg. Tom Clark with a good sliding stop. He gets a bit of stick from the crowd as Tom Clark in front of that rows of spectators. Pretty much every seat that I can see on that side of the ground is taken. It's an excellent attendance here at Chelmsford for the opening T20 of the season. Total goes to 30 without loss in the 4th over. Crocombe on his way again to the left-handed tall Paul Walter. He's in and bowls, and Walter hammers that one back down the ground, but Crocombe's across and fields off his own bowling, and it's a rare dot ball. Crocombe gets a pat on the back from Jack Leaning, fielding at extra cover. Sussex have now done away with the slip, but still at this stage of the game only allowed 2 fielders outside of the 30-yard circle. Deep cover and deep backward square leg as Crocombe around the wicket, bowls short, a slower ball pulled away. Good bit of fielding by Danny Briggs down below. It's a good tumbling save at short fine leg, prevents anything more than a single. Perhaps Walter was surprised by that slower delivery. Essex go to 31 without loss. 1 ball remaining of this, the 4th over of the power play. They always talk, Victoria, about getting out of an over, so Henry Croker will be very wary here, as Tamel Mills is just rearranging his field. He's just brought his deep backward point to more of a deep cover position on the offside, as Crocombe is in over the wicket, bowls, and Pepper plays to mid-wicket. That's a good over from Henry Crocombe, at the end of which Essex are 31 without loss, so an over that only cost 7 runs. Michael Pepper is on 10, Paul Walter is on 16. You're listening to live cricket on the BBC Radio Essex, BBC Radio Sussex, Victoria Polly and Adrian Harms on the most beautiful evening in Chelmsford. I think it's meant to be like this all weekend, isn't it?
It is going to be a beautiful bank holiday weekend.
Do Essex play again this weekend?
No, not until Tuesday.
Right, okay.
So yes, it's the Friday evening to make the most of here at Chelmsford.
Yeah, Sussex are back in action on Sunday. No, not Monday, when we're
Bank holiday Monday.
Make it a day's right. We'll be down at Canterbury.
Nice.
So 2 aways to start for Sussex.
Tamal Mills is going to bowl from the Sir Alistair Cook end. His 2nd over of the game. He's into Walter, who tries to pull this one. It comes off the bottom edge of the bat, and they'll come through for a single, 32 without loss.
And of course, a revised format this year, which in terms of travelling makes it a whole lot easier with sort of all the local teams and also all around the London area. And then 1 game outside of area. We go to Warwickshire and you go to
Northampton,
which isn't too bad, really.
Not too bad. And we've got Derbyshire here next Sunday.
Right, okay. Yeah, our home fixture against a side from outside of the area is Leicestershire.
Bit of a change.
Yeah, absolutely. Never played Leicestershire in T20 that I can remember.
Around the wicket comes Mills,
Shot.
and Pepper just throws the hands at that one, squeezes out the gap down towards 3rd for 4.
Yeah, good shot. Yeah, I mean, a complete change of format, isn't it? Instead of a North and a South group and the top 4 of each going into the quarterfinals, this year it's 3 groups of 6, and I think the top 2 go through, and presumably the 2 best losers go through as well. The 2 best that come in 3rd place in the group. So a bit of a change, but I think everyone's welcomed the fact that it's 14 down to 12. It just seems a lot more manageable.
36 without loss, as Mills is on his way in, and that one is just tucked off the hip by Pepper, but it's straight to the fielder for no run. I think maybe the only disappointment for Essex is just losing a home game, because you see the crowd here tonight.
And actually they made that point down at Somerset as well. I mean, down at Hove last season, they didn't sell out every T20, so I think the feeling might be if you're better off selling out 6 rather than having 7 when you don't. But yeah, I mean, it's still, and they're the games when Sussex make money, and I'm sure it's the same with Essex as well. There's not a lot of money to be made in county championship days.
So we've had a single, a 4 and a dot ball, as Mills is in to Pepper, who volleys that one back at Mills. Oh, that's going to hurt. That was hit with some force.
Ooh. Well, I think he's okay, Tamal, and I think that hit him on the right hand. Yeah, it did. Look, he's wringing that right hand. I mean, for a moment, Victoria, I thought it was going to be over waist high. It might be called a no ball, but that was belted back.
I imagine, well, we might get some details on this later, but I imagine that might be how Sam Cook picked up his injury in training.
Okay.
He's dealt with that very well, to be fair to Tamal Mills.
Yes.
He's shook that one off, and after all that, it was a dot ball.
Well, Sussex will be very pleased that it's not his bowling hand.
As Mills is coming around the wicket, shorter ball to Pepper, which he woofs a bat at, but it bounces through to Simpson. That was quick.
I was saying that Henry Crocombe is the quickest of the Sussex bowlers, certainly in county championship he is, but that was really sharp from Tamal. And interestingly, they'd move the fielder on the cover point boundary up to saving 1 and put 2 men back on the leg side, so he was obviously hoping to induce a pull or hook shot out of Michael Pepper. I think he was beaten for pace more than anything else.
Mills comes in around the wicket again, shorted ball which is pulled away by
Shot.
Pepper, just one bounce before the rope and away for 4 runs. Well, that occasion he dealt with that shorter delivery from Mills. Essex move on to 40 without loss after 5.
Good shot, wasn't it? And we were saying in the previous over from Henry Crocombe how important it is to try and get out of an over without any damage. Henry Crocombe managed to do that, but a little too short from Tamal, and Michael Pepper very quickly onto that. A good shot pulling the ball away through mid-wicket for 4 runs. So good start from Essex. They'll be delighted, Victoria, not to have lost a wicket in this power play and just building a decent base. Conversely, I think Sussex will be reasonably pleased with smallish boundaries. That 40 without loss, it isn't the end of the world. But this is the last over of the power play coming up to be bowled by Henry Crocombe into Paul Walter. He bowls and Walter plays that straight to mid-wicket. Didn't time it at all. Fielded there by Tom Alsop. And there is no run. So the 2 fielders outside the 30-yard circle. A deep backward square leg. And in fact, they're going to change it around now. Just as I said that, they're going to bring the sweeper on the cover boundary up, saving 1. And 2 men now back on the leg side boundary as Crocombe makes his way in around the wicket, bowls. Walter makes room and plays it over the head of backward point. It's going to run away for 4 runs. Got to say, that's good batting by Paul Walter. He'd seen Sussex bring the men up inside the circle on the offside. It was outside the off stump, and he just waited and carved that one away over backward point for 4 runs. No third man. I think that's a good bit of batting. He goes to 21 and Essex to 44 without loss. I think we're having trouble getting the ball back, actually. I think it might have gone into the air. In fact, it's gone under the covers.
Oh, that's always a tricky one,
and the
isn't
Sussex fielders having to sort of get the Sussex lads having to pull the covers out as well to retrieve the ball. There they are. Well done, Danny Lamb. Assisted there by Brad Curry. But in the midst of all that, Paul Walter goes to 21 and Essex to 44 without loss. 4 balls remaining of the power play. Crocombe around the wicket, bowls, pulled away. That's going to be 4 more. That's not a great delivery. That's too short from Henry Crocombe. And Paul Walter's just too good a player to bowl that delivery to. He's pulled that one away down to fine leg for 4 runs. Back-to-back boundaries for Essex, who go to 48 without loss. Paul Walter on to 25 off 15 deliveries.
Making most of this final over of the power play, Paul Walter in particular, alongside Michael Pepper.
Yeah, good shot. So back-to-back boundaries, 1 over backward point, 1 down to fine leg. In comes Crocombe again, bowls, and Walter eases this one onto the leg side, picks up a single, fielded down to our right-hand side at the backward square by James Coles, who was bought for an extraordinary amount of money in the 100 auction.
He made headlines, didn't
yeah,
he?
he did. He's only 22 the day before the season started. Bought for, it was £350,000 in the 100. So, having had a very good winter over in the South African T20 and going from someone largely unknown, it's fair to say, I think, outside of England, to a bit of a superstar over in that competition, which his side won, and then sold for a lot of money. In comes Crocombe, bowl, short pull. That's going to be 4 more. Yes, it is. Too short from Henry Crocombe. And Michael Pepper top edging it over John Simpson's head down to the boundary for 4 runs. So this is turning out to be an expensive final over of the power play. It was quick from Henry Crocombe, but Michael Pepper with a big top edge. The ball flies over keeper John Simpson and through to the boundary for 4 more. 53 without loss, and this over so far has cost Sussex 13. 3 boundaries and a single. As Pepper glances around, Danny Briggs is warming up down below us, which suggests he may be bowling fairly soon as Crocombe is in. Over the wicket, bowls, and Pepper just plays this one to backward point. He wanted a single, but he was sent back by Paul Walter. I think Essex will be pleased with the runs they've accumulated in that over. So the end of the 6th over, the end of the power play, and Essex are 53 without loss Paul Walter on 26, Michael Pepper on 22.
And I think Essex will be pleased with that. There's been some nice shots played by Paul Walter and Michael Pepper, and as well as that, when the bad balls have come, they have punished them from the Sussex bowlers as well. And Essex will be just really, I think, looking to be putting in a strong batting performance. It was a difficult campaign all round last season in the T20 Blast for them, but in particular the batting collapses at times were really hard to see, and these are two experienced players here at the top of the order for Essex, so they'll certainly be hoping that they can make the most of it in this game. So Danny Briggs is going to bowl from the Sir Alistair Cook end. I think we might be joined by a special guest on commentary in a moment, as Briggs is in and Walter plays that one up towards long on, and he'll come through for a single. Wait till the end of the over, Adrian, and then we'll swap over. We are going to have Sam Cook join us on commentary. You see him at the back of the box with the sling on, so we'll find out a bit more about that injury. That means he's not involved in the Essex side tonight, as Briggs comes around the wicket, and that's scooped into the leg side by Pepper. Just the single, fielded by Coles.
Well, it's great to see Danny Briggs back in a Sussex shirt, the leading wicket taker of all time in T20 cricket. His experience will be invaluable.
As he's into Walter, who's gone big. Has he gone all the way for 6? Yes, he has. And he's just walloped that one away towards deep mid-wicket, and it's gone all the way over the rope.
Well, his experience will be vital, but if you bowl a long hop, it's going to go for 6, however many wickets you've taken. And Paul Walter just leant back and just smashed them all over long on for 6. This is a terrific start for Essex.
61 without loss. Walter's on to 33. He's faced 18, and he's about to face this one as Briggs is in, and this time it's along the ground towards deep mid-wicket from Paul Walter. There's 62, brings Pepper back onto strike.
Well, Essex will be delighted with this start. They haven't lost a wicket. And going on at the best part of, they're not far off at 10 and over.
Briggs is in, and that's just dabbed really into the offside by Pepper, just using the hands to prod at it and come through for the single, keep the strike ticking over for Essex. Pepper's on to 24, Essex 63 without loss.
Well, Paul Walter looks in the mood here, doesn't he?
The tall left-hander is waiting, and that one is played into the pitch and up in the air. Briggs is appealing, but to me that was hit into the ground first from the Essex opener at the end of the over.
Look quite what he's appealing for there. That was a bit weird.
Yeah, as if it was a caught and bowled,
yeah.
But I think it was quite clear from up here that Walter had hit that into the pitch. 63 without loss at the end of the 7th. Adrian will be back with us a bit later on in commentary, and Sam Cook is going to join us in the commentary box. We are going to see James Coles, talking about him and that 100 auction a bit earlier on. He's going to come into the attack for Sussex. An evening to Sam Cook.
Good evening, Victoria. How are you?
It's lovely to see you up here,
Yeah.
but I'm a bit disappointed you're not out there.
I know you and me both very obviously gutted not to be out there, but yeah, try my hand at something. Well, one hand at something different. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
We'll talk about the injury in a moment, but here comes Coles, and Pepper has reverse hit that. Is it going to be caught on the boundary? No, it's over for 6. And he got hold of that one, did Michael Pepper, and he's cleared the rope in front of the pavilion. Essex 69 without loss. Good start this for Essex.
Very good start. Obviously, Chelmsford, fresh wicket. You want to make a good start in the power play, and as always, Tall Paul and Pep's coming in brilliantly. I think, especially there, James Cole's first ball, putting him under pressure. Pep's obviously a very strong option of his, the reverse sweep, and to get that for 6 puts the bowler under pressure immediately. So yeah, really good start.
Not an ideal start to the over for James Coles, who is in again, and this time it's clubbed into the leg side by Pepper, but he will find the fielder out in the deep. I think it's Clark out there who did have that spilled catch a little bit earlier on, so he might get some stick from the Chelmsford crowd.
Yeah, inevitable at Chelmsford, especially Friday night. I think just strolling through Molson Street now, I think the Sussex players are going to be under a bit of pressure from the crowd.
Coles is in, and that one is played square of the wicket by Walter, who comes through for the single. Essex on to 71. And still the opening pair at the crease. And getting through this over fairly quickly with the spin at the moment. Pepper waits, he's on 31. Coles is into him, he's down on one knee, he's turned that one round the corner, has Michael Pepper. Down towards fine leg. He's got that one away for 4 runs. He knew exactly what he was going to do with that one as it came towards him. And Essex motoring along, 75 without loss.
Yeah, Pep's there, obviously very, very strong player, square of the wicket with his sweeps and reverse sweeps. I think this is a matchup that he'll be targeting to try and put James Coles under pressure with his left arm spin, and 2 boundaries in his first 3 balls is a good way to start that.
As Coles is in again on the back foot this time. Pepper punches out into the offside and it's fielded cleanly in the deep. They'll come through for the single. Now, are you on speaking terms with Ian Mulder after the incident?
Yeah, I think he's only apologised to me about 150 times in the last 3 days. So yeah, we're on good terms. I mean, it's not his fault. He's trying to practice. So it's my fault for not catching it, to be honest.
This one has gone over the infield from Paul Walter. It will bounce and be caught out in the deep in the offside as they'll come through for a single from the last ball of the over. 77 without loss after 8 for Essex. So how serious is this for you?
It looks a bit more dramatic than it actually is. Luckily it's only a small crack, so hopefully it won't be too long. But yeah, like Oak mentioned on the press release, that the medical team are hot on it, and yeah, as I say, the big cast and the sling makes it look a little bit more dramatic than it is. As the boys have told me already, they need to sort of man up and get over it. But yeah, I know it's unfortunate. Obviously, Friday night at Chelmsford and the Blast have been desperate to get back out and play. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating, but part and parcel of the game, unfortunately.
Danny Lamb is beginning a new over from the Sir Alistair Cook end, which is hit into the leg side for a single. Do you want to do ball-by-ball commentary, or are you?
I think I'll leave that to the expert,
Okay.
Victoria. I'll try and add some insight that I can to anything to that, but I think Danny Lamb here, you're going to see a lot sort of slower balls, a lot of changes of paces, something he looks to go to through the middle overs here. He's a skillful customer. I think, like you see here, Jordan Simpson up to the stumps. He'll try and keep it tight in terms of his line, but you'll see a lot of different change-ups and variations here. So I'm sure the batters will have what it needs to combat that. And
That's pulled away by Pepper, and there is a man racing round to get there as they come back for 2. So I'll do the ball, you do the
yeah,
analysis.
I'll try and add something to after. I'll leave it to the experts. But yeah, I think unfortunate there not to get a skip on from the outfield here at Chelmsford. It's normally very, very quick. If you get it in the gap, it feels like it's going to be 4 as a bowler. So batter's trying to put the bowlers under pressure here immediately, and I think like you'll probably see a pattern here from the batters in terms of them trying to attack a boundary in the first 2-3 balls of the over, and then get ahead of the going rate, and then they'll try and pick up sort of their singles and 2s towards the back end of the over. So that's probably something to watch out for at home.
There's a leg side wide. Oh, as Lamb slips as he comes in to bowl the next delivery, dead ball, and luckily is up and all right, but not ideal as you're coming in off your run-up.
No, I mean, fresh pitch here, obviously. I think there's a little bit of a green tinge to it, as you might be able to see at home, and sometimes that happens for the bowlers who are a bit more side on it. You can catch your boot instead of the studs, and unfortunately Lammy there ending up in an unfortunate position, and as you can probably hear the crowd getting on top of that as well. He
is into Pepper, and this time it's hit uppishly into the offside, but safely from the Essex opener.
Yeah, a knuckleball there from Danny Lamb is probably difficult to see on the live stream, but one where he's just pulled his fingers back from the seam and letting it just sort of float down, and Pep's unfortunately there being misdone, but luckily not out. So
Lamb
keeps
is
going. He goes
in.
for the same ball again there,
And he just plays that one back to the bowler.
Yeah, going to his variations here, Danny Lamb, which I think you really need to do at Chelmsford, a really difficult ground to to defend as a bowler, and I think the changes of pace and those subtle variations that he's done there are going to be key for any bowling attack trying to succeed here.
Lamb into Pepper, who's off the hip with that one. Long on will come in and do the fielding as the Essex pair take the single, 82 without loss.
Yeah, I think as well what you can probably see from that single there is Jack leaning at long on, one of the better fielders around. So trying to pick the men that they can maybe take a 2-2 or can push that single that much harder. But again, Pep's there being quite smart in just taking a single.
This one is along the ground from Walter into the leg side, as they'll come through for another single at the end of the over. So we've had 9 now, Essex 83 without loss, and they'll be really pleased to see Walter and Pepper building the partnership, because it was a difficult T20 campaign last season for Essex. Has that been spoken about much, Sam, or do you try and put that to bed and leave that behind?
Yeah, you try to put it to bed. Obviously, in the midst of a busy schedule with 4-day cricket, we've not had an awful lot of time to sort of speak around how we want to go about our T20 cricket, but fortunately, obviously finishing that 4-day game a day early gave us a little bit more lead-in time to this. So yeah, great start from the boys and a great base to hopefully kick on with the power that we've got coming in down the order as well.
The Curry is on from the Graham Gooch end as this one's pulled into the leg side by Paul Walter, and they'll come through for a single. So we've seen a couple of overs from Brad Curry from the opposite end, formerly the River end, now the Alistair Cook end, and he was 0 for 18 so far.
Yeah, not sure how many wickets Sir Alistair actually got from that end, so that's something that's been spoken about in the change room a little bit. But yeah, I think I'll bite my tongue there, because Chef might be on the phone to me complaining if he hears this.
Curry is in, and that's just dabbed by Pepper, and Curry does the fielding off his own bowling, but he's not quick enough to be able to have any kind of shy at the stumps as they come through for the single. I think, isn't it something to do with Graham Gooch end is closer to the Whipps Cross Hospital or something like that, where it's about where they were born?
Right. You know a bit more than me on that one.
Don't quote me on the geography, but
I think Gucci probably had a few more wickets in his career than Sir Alistair, but yeah, no, absolutely deserve to have at least something in the ground named after the pair of them for what they've done for Essex cricket.
Curry is in, that's up in the air from Walter, and he doesn't even bother to run because that is straight down the ground for 6. Might have even been caught in the crowd as well. Paul Walter is in the mood for Essex tonight, and that's his second 6 of the evening.
Yeah, certainly didn't get all of that one, Paulie, but I think that's what you can see for an experienced player targeting the correct areas. Obviously extremely short, straight towards that Sir Alistair Cook end, if I've called that right. Didn't quite get all of it, but yeah, enough to go for 6 and put the bowler under some more pressure.
Essex 91 without loss, shorter delivery this time, pulled away by Walter. That's a great stop on the boundary by James Coles. He was quick down to that one, diving to his right hand side, and he prevents it going for 4, so Essex just take the single in the end.
Yeah, very good piece of fielding there from James Coles. He's a very good fielder, particularly square at the wicket. I think that's one thing that has come into the game a lot more recently is you'll see the specific fielders to those areas in those correct areas for long periods, and James Coles certainly does sort of deep square cow corner the majority of the time, and that is out of the ground.
That is huge from Michael Pepper. I think that might be landing on someone's balcony in the flats away to our right-hand side. He went square of the wicket into the leg side, and it's gone high, it's gone long, it's gone for 6. The second 6 of this over for Brad Curry's bowling, and Essex are 98 without loss.
Yeah, I think what you can see here in this over particularly is the singles they've taken in between those 6s, that they've still managed to keep the scoreboard ticking over, which hasn't meant that they've had to put too much pressure on their boundary options, and they've waited, Peps and Paulie here, for the ball to come into their zone for where they can pick up their boundaries, and like you say,
Curry is in.
Pressure, and that's 6 more.
That's huge from Michael Pepper. It takes him to his 50 as well from 33 balls. And it takes Essex over their 100 as well. Michael Pepper with a half century in this first game of the T20 Blast 2026. He made 3 half centuries for Essex last season, and he's made a first here against Sussex tonight in the opening match.
Yeah, what a start from Michael, and hopefully Paulie will follow suit very quickly after. He loves batting here in the blast, and like you say there, particularly so early on in the competition, to get off to a start like this is hopefully going to give us some real good momentum going into this competition. But a formidable opening partnership, that two very, very good mates off the field, these two, so I think they'll be bouncing off each other out there, and hopefully can continue this throughout the innings.
Danny Lamb is in to Paul Walter, bit of width on that one, it's pushed up towards long off.
Yeah, Danny Lamb showing there sort of a slow and wide option with the ball, which is probably a smart play on this pitch. As someone with the levers of Paul Walter, he can access sort of very wide, but I think showing that pace variation and the change of line, making it difficult for him to hit a boundary there.
Lamb is in, oh, and he's gone. Michael Pepper was trying to take a swipe at that one with that reverse that we've come to know so well from him, but he misses it. Danny Lamb picks up the wicket, and that's the first wicket down for Essex. Michael Pepper, 52 from 33 balls, Essex 105 for 1.
Yeah, brilliant start from Peps there. Obviously unfortunate to miss out on that one, but I think some people at home might think he's taken an adventurous option there with the reverse sweep, but he's so strong at that shot. It's as sort of simple to him as hitting a cover drive, so unfortunate to miss that one. But I think what you've seen there is that the grounds have been laid, the foundations for the team to really kick on and sort of push that start on. So he was obviously trying to pick up his boundary option there, but plenty more firepower to come from the batting lineup. So I think the right thing to do there to try and sort of really build off the back of that last over and try and keep that momentum going. But fair play to the bowler, obviously good execution from Danny Lamb there to hit top of off stump, and Michael will be disappointed with that one, but I think it was a good option at the right time, just unfortunate not to execute.
Yeah, we were talking to Simon Harmer early in the week on BBC Essex about the T20 blast, and he said the experienced players need to step up. There was some younger players in the squad as well, and we'll see some different faces this time around. Obviously, you're not involved. Charlie Allison away with the England Lions as well for the first part. Jordan Cox away at the IPL too. So a few familiar faces missing for Essex as Lamb is in to the new man Critchley, who's pushing that one up towards long on for a single to get off the mark. And Charlie Bennett comes in for Essex tonight. We saw a glimpse of him in the T20 last year, and then we saw more of him in the One Day Cup. How excited are you about the younger bowlers within the Essex unit?
Yeah, hugely. We've got really good depth in the lineup, especially with the additions that we've had in Mitch Killeen and Zam Akhtar as well, and like you mentioned, Charlie Bennett there as well.
Shorter delivery from Lamb, which is pulled away by Walter. It's stopped in the deep. Is that Clark there again doing the fielding?
Yeah, good piece of work there, especially out on that Felsted stand end into the sun. It's a very difficult place to field. I know myself out there trying to pick the ball up into the sun is very difficult. But just going back to what you said about Charlie Bennett, he's got all the attributes to be a top bowler. So the opportunity that he's got, hopefully he can grab it with both hands tonight.
This one's pushed back towards long on. Similar shot to the first one from Matt Critchley as he takes a single. Did Brad Curry a disservice out there in the deep. He's over on the boundary, patrolling out there. Yeah,
and again, Charlie, like I just mentioned briefly there, obviously he's got all the attributes to be a top bowler, but ultimately you don't learn as a young bowler apart from playing in first team cricket. So great that he's got opportunity tonight, and I'm sure that he'll put in a good performance with the ball. And great shot there from tall Paul down the ground, picking the slower ball and depositing it straight for a one bounce four. So really strong end to a difficult over, but just to keep that momentum going is really good from
and that takes him over 50 as well for Essex off 30 balls with that boundary for Paul Walter. And again, last season made a couple of 50s, but looking to push on really this season for Essex. A high score of 55 in last year's campaign, but Essex know how dangerous he can be at the top of the order, alongside Matt Critchley at the moment.
Absolutely, Critch coming in with the experience. I think what you'll see from Critch here is probably him looking to rotate the strike and keep the set batter in tall Paul into being on the strike for the majority. So I think you'll see a bit of strike rotation, whether he knocks it into the offside or the leg side here.
Then comes Briggs, and that's just gently dabbed into the offside by Critchley, who comes through for the singles. Essex 113 for 1.
Nice to know that. I semi-know what I'm talking about there with Critch taking his single. But I think especially with the left-arm spinner match-up to Tallpool here, he'll be looking to try and clear the boundary here, I would have thought.
Briggs is in. He's gone along the ground towards the long-on boundary. It is picked up by the fielder who is out there, and they will just take the single.
Yeah, Danny Briggs is obviously reading that as well, looking to sort of fire a quicker ball in, try and get under the swing of Paul, and obviously resulting in that single to long on.
Briggs into Critchley, pushes that one through the covers. Man comes in off the boundary to pick it up. Another single. So yeah, just keeping things ticking over, which is important, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think trying to keep the scoreboard moving in between those boundaries is massive to maintaining a momentum, especially when you've lost a wicket there. That's the one thing we speak about as bowlers, in trying to disrupt the momentum by taking wickets. So really smart batting from Critch there.
In comes Briggs, and that is over the infield from Paul Walter. It is picked up on the boundary, much to the annoyance of the Chelmsford crowd, who are trying to put the pressure on the Sussex fielders. Again, a single for Essex. So Briggs has conceded a single every ball so far, but he's kept the boundaries at bay for now.
Yeah, very smart bowler, Danny Briggs. Incredibly experienced in this competition, so I think he'll know.
Oh, I might have put the curse on him, or is this out? Critchley was trying to go big, and he has hit that straight to the long-off fielder. And so Matt Critchley will depart for 4 from 4 balls. Essex lose their second wicket in the 12th over. They're 116 for 2.
Yeah, clever piece of bowling there from Danny Briggs, obviously the new batter in Critch. And he's just looked to take the pace off there and hug the wide line, which is inviting Critch to take the sort of the positive option there, which again showing his experience there, Danny Briggs. But I think that's the one thing that you see by the platform that's been set by those two openers, allowing guys to take those positive options to try and keep that scoreboard moving. Because we know as a team that the sort of pass score at Chelmsford is sort of north of 190, closer to 200. So trying to keep that sort of 10 and over run rate up. But yeah, Danny Briggs there showing sort of a bit of experience and his class, that he's been an operator at this level for a long time and knows what he's doing. But again, I think like you see Luke Benkenstein walking in here, some real firepower that we've got to come down the order. So yeah, no sort of stress or no panic there from the dugout. There won't be.
That was caught by Jack Leaning, by the way, as well, as Briggs is into Benkenstein. His first ball is through the offside, and it's picked up in the deep. So that is all. Paul Walter was thinking about a second run, and he luckily makes it back to his crease beforehand. I think the misfield there tempted him. Essex 117 for 2 at the end of the 12th. Sam, you're happy to stick with us for a bit longer?
Absolutely, yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll bring Adrian back into commentary to carry on with you, Sam. And while Adrian's coming back, I know you like your DJing, so tell us, on T20 night, what are the best tracks that they pump when it's a wicket or a 6 or whatever?
I mean, I'm used to talking about cricket, but yeah, trying to talk about something completely different, that's going to be challenging. But I think a shout out to our groundsman / resident DJ, Luke Lloyd, who keeps the crowd going on a T20 night. He knows what to spin, and yeah, I think he's doing a fantastic job so far at keeping the atmosphere of this ground. But he likes to dig into sort of his garage records and that sort of stuff. But I feel like I'm talking out of turn a little bit about something I don't know a huge amount about.
In comes Henry Crocombe over the wicket, bowls to Benkenstein, who plays it down the ground, fielded by Jack Leaning. It's another single to Essex, who go to 118 for 2. Good to see you, Sam. Sorry to hear about your injury.
Yeah, obviously
fingers crossed.
Unfortunate. Yeah, touch wood, fingers crossed. All the puns and the one-handed puns that I've had over the last few days. So, yeah, I know, a bit unfortunate, but yeah, excited to try my hand at something a little bit different in the commentary box here. So yeah, something a bit different.
It's great to have you here. Henry Crocombe, young Sussex bowler. What do you know about Henry, Sam?
He's been fantastic. He's had a really good start to the season. He's really strong, bowls good pace.
In and bowls and pulled down to short fine leg, fielded there by Tamal Mills. There is no run.
Yeah, I think we've seen a fair amount of Henry, obviously in the blast the last couple of years. Is probably when we've been exposed to him as a bowler a bit more. But I think what you'll see from him is an action where he sort of slightly falls away, but has a really strong wrist that he can sort of swing it away from the right hander, which is where he's had a real amount of his success
Yeah.
so far this year in the Championship, and I think trying to sort of identify a few principles from a bowler in the Championship and take that into the Blast. But he's got some very good variations, and he's done really well for Sussex in the white ball stuff, and then added to it with a really strong showing in the Championship. So he's a very exciting bowler, and one that I think will do well in the years to come.
Comes in and bowls to Walter, drills that to mid-off, there is no run. Yeah, he's only 24, I mean he's played quite a lot of first-class cricket and has got himself picked for the Lions as well for one of the games. I think it's the game at Beckenham, there's two games, one at Arundel, one at Beckenham. So he's got himself picked for the second one of those.
Yeah, deservedly so. He's right up the top of the wicket taker tally for this year, so it's good to see that strong performances in the Championship are being rewarded for that, and I'm sure he'll do really well at that.
Crocombe comes in, bowls, that's too short, and Paul Walter's just too good a player, and he just waited for that and pulled the ball away through backward square leg for 4 runs. Nice shot by Paul Walter. He goes to 58 and Essex to 122 for 2.
Yeah, really smart from Paulie there. I think Henry showing a smart option, going sort of slower bouncer to him, but unfortunately his line was just a little bit straight for him, and Paul shows the experience there, and how quick the outfield can be at Chelmsford, just knocking that in the grap and picking up his 4, which is a low risk boundary option.
Crocombe in again, bowls, and he beats Walter with a swing and a miss through to John Simpson behind the stumps, and there is no run. You're listening to Live Cricket on BBC Radio Essex, BBC Sussex. Adrian Harms, Sam Cook with you on commentary here. Off to a really good start. T20 cricket is a strange game, Sam, isn't it? I just wonder from... Let's pick that up for you.
Sorry.
That's all right. Essex with such a strong start as Crocombe is in, around the wicket, bowls to Walter, heaves that one away down the ground. Or is he going to be caught down here at long on? I think that's been taken. Now looks to me like Finn Hudson-Prentice, who must be on the field as a 12th man. He came forward from long on, he's caught that literally probably centimetres from the ground, and Paul Walter goes. There was a bit of a hush around the ground. I think people were just waiting to see that the catch was taken cleanly. The umpire deemed that it was, and a third wicket go down. Paul Walter out for 58, and Essex 122 for 3.
Yeah, very good catch there from Hudson-Prentice. He's a good fielder. Again, they're just similarly to the last wicket, obviously the start that's been made, allowing the batters to be that more aggressive, and we know here at Chelmsford that you need to keep that momentum going. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for Paulie, but a good piece of bowling there from Crocombe, just taking the pace off. And I think what you'd notice there is not just him taking the pace off, it's where the ball has ended up, which is top of the stumps, which is a hard place for any batter to hit. And unfortunately, Paulie not quite getting all of it there, but a good catch low on the ground there from Hudson-Prentice.
And actually just 5 runs coming off the over, so it's actually sort of clawed things back at the end of the 10th over. Essex were 104 without loss. Danny Briggs, someone I'm sure you've played a lot of cricket against, is in from the Graham Gooch end, bowls to Benkenstein, who plays that down to long off, and he picks up a single.
Yeah, extremely experienced campaigner, Danny Briggs, I've spoken about just now on commentary, but he's right up there in the all-time T20 wicket tally, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, I think he's the leader.
Yeah, well there you go. So some sort of knowledge coming through, but yeah, Vian Mulder, who I come on unfortunately on the end of his striking earlier in the week, so surely he can rebuild.
Briggs in, cut away by Mulder, down to deep point, filled out there by James Coles. I heard you talking about James a little earlier on. Mulder's on his way, he's on 124 for 3. As someone who's been in the game a long time, Sam, I mean, he's gone for this huge amount of money in the 100. James Coles, as Briggs in again, around the wicket, bowls, down the wicket, driving, that's gone all the way for 6 runs. That's a lovely shot. Using his feet, his Benkenstein, that's just drilled down the ground for 6 runs. Beautifully played. He goes to 9 and Essex to 130 for 3.
Yeah, Luke Benkenstein there, extreme talent. I think showing there that he doesn't need to overhit and just hitting through the line cleanly, trying to pick up a 4, and it's gone all the way for 6.
Briggs in again. Benkenstein runs this one to short fine leg, fielded there by Danny Lambie. Mulder has to get a move on and get back in his ground, but there is no run. 130 for 3. 3 balls gone of this, the 14th over. Briggs around the wicket, in and bowls, and forward comes Benkenstein, plays that to mid-off. A good tumbling stop there by who's that at mid-off? Daniel Hughes, I think, the Australian, and there is no run. Briggs in again, round the wicket, bowls, drilled away on the offside. Coles very quickly round that offside boundary. Fields, and it's just a single as he gets in the throw. One more to Benkenstein. He goes to 10. And Essex to 131 for 3 at the end of the over. You talk about James Coles, when you go for it, does that bring sort of extra pressure, Sam, when you go for that sort of money?
Yeah, I mean, I think Coles is a hugely talented cricketer that we've seen a good amount of in the T20 cricket we've played against and 4-day cricket against him. And I think the one thing people forget is that it's not his fault that he's gone for that much money. So I think the performances he's put in for Sussex in the 100, and particularly this winter in franchise cricket, I saw a good amount. I've spent a good amount of time with Coles in and around the Lions environment, and he warrants every bit of that. He's a 3 sort of dimensional cricketer. He bowls good, very good left arm spin. He's a very, very talented batter, and he's an excellent fielder. So as a package for someone to pick up, I can see why they've paid above the odds for him.
And he's in and bowls and beats Benkenstein, who looked to play on the leg side. There is no run. Yeah, I mean, in 4 championship hundreds last year, and he just, when he gets going, he's got that lovely shot through mid-wicket. And
yeah, he's very strong square of the wicket batting. He's someone that I wouldn't look to bowl short to very often because he's so strong on the pull shot. But I think the way he plays spin, particularly as a middle order batter, he's constantly putting the spinners under pressure in a very similar way to Michael Pepper does. He sweeps, he reverse sweeps really well. He hits over extra cover. So for any spinner, he's a very difficult customer to bowl to, and someone that's going to put you under pressure whatever phase of the game that he comes into bat. So yeah, he's a real talent, and someone that I'm sure is going to have a real strong setting in the game.
Comes and bowls, and that's edged by Liam Mulder. He just picks up a single, deceived by that delivery by James Coles. Picks up a single, 132 for 3.
I think what you'll see from James here as well, it's something I spoke to him quite about in the winter. You'll see sort of 2 lines here. He'll be top of the stumps or slow them to the wide line, so they're slightly slower delivery, and Benke chips it out to long on for a single. So he mixes his pace very well. He's not someone that spins the ball a whole heap unless there's a bit of spin on offer, and I think on a fresh pitch at Chelmsford you won't see much spin from him, but as a batter he knows when to mix his pace and the variations to go to.
He's in again, bowls cut away to backward point. Good bit of fielding there by the familiar figure of Danny Briggs, who's very good in that position at backward point. And this is a good over from James Coles, just the 3 runs conceded so far. And again, final ball of the over, in and bowls, short, pulled away to the leg side. He should be caught against Tom Alsop down there. He does take the catch, just a yard inside the boundary. And Liam Mulder has gone for 2, and James Coles picks up a wicket, and Sussex fighting their way back into this game. 134 for 3 at the end of the 15th.
Yeah, again, smart piece of bowling there from James Coles, firing one in a slightly quicker delivery and short of the length, so Vian feeling like he needed to go back and pull it, but just that extra pace in the delivery I think may have meant why he didn't quite get all of it. But I think, like you can see there on the replay, that Coles, when all his sort of variations tend to be at the top of the stumps, straight or real slow and real wide, so Vian feeling like he can put the pressure on the bowler there and try and pick up the boundary at the back end of the over. But I think what it will show is that the start that the openers got allowed these guys to come in and try and put more pressure on the bowlers. So yeah, I think all of the batters here will be aware that we need to kind of maintain sort of that 9 runs and over, closer to 10 runs and over. But yeah, ultimately in T20 cricket you're going to have to take risks and try and hit boundaries, especially somewhere at Chelmsford where it's difficult to defend. So yeah, I'm sure Noah Thane coming in here to join Benkenstein will look to do the same.
Briggs comes in and bowls, first ball hammered straight down the ground. That's gone a long way. That's straight down the ground for 6 runs. That's a terrific shot by Benkenstein, almost effortless, Sam, and he's just drilled them all down the ground for 6 runs. Lovely shot.
He's incredibly talented, is Benke. I think a lot of sort of older coaches would probably, after a wicket, look to take one down the ground there, but again, identifying that they need to keep the momentum going, and like you say, an effortless shot from Benke there to hit it out the ground, and a change of ball there from the third umpire. But I think what it does do is that boundary early in the over just allows you to reduce your risk as the over goes on. But great start to the over from Benke.
Briggs in again, bowls. Short pulled away onto the leg side. Henry Croker very quickly in from deep backwards square leg, gets in the throw. One more to the total. Benkenstein goes to 19. Essex to 141 for 4. We've got 4 overs after this one. Danny Briggs back to his mark. And Noah Thane just taking strike. 3 men saving 1 on the offside, 1 on the leg. The other fielder scattered around the boundary edge as Briggs is in bowl. Short, cut away by Thane. He's going to pick up a single fielded on the cover boundary by James Coles. Gets in the throw on the bounce to John Simpson. I guess a lot of these Sussex guys you'd have played a lot of cricket against, the likes of John Simpson and Jack Leaning down the years.
Yeah, I think particularly obviously with the sort of southeast group this year, you do find yourself playing against the same guys continually, so you get to know their games pretty well. But I think Benkenstein there again.
Well, he's been hit smash straight down the ground. Sorry to interrupt you,
No,
Sam.
absolutely. Crack on.
Danny Briggs has gone for 2 sixes and over, and that doesn't happen too often. That's a super shot straight down the ground.
Brilliant from Benkenstein there. I think see the momentum shift that you can get from losing a wicket. Benke not sort of dithering about there, trying to clear the rope still, which is very good batting, and then taking the single again down the ground there just to keep the strike rotating. So really good from Benke there, just keeping the momentum of the run scoring there. You almost at Chelmsford, with how high scoring a ground it is, you can't afford to sort of have an over where the scoreboard doesn't rotate. So 2 sixes and the rotation, brilliant there from Benkenstein.
Briggs in bowls, drilled down the ground by Thane, picks up another single. It's an expensive over from Danny Briggs, 134 for 3 at the start of the over, 150 up, so 16 off of that over from Danny Briggs. When you're starting in a match like this, would they have a target in mind?
No, I think you always try to assess. I mean, I can't speak too much for the batters, as it's not often my role, but from a bowling point of view, you're trying to think on your feet as quickly as possible, trying to assess the conditions. And I think the batters here will have seen fresh pitch at Chelmsford. We know that a pass score generally here is sort of north of 190, so knowing that we need to keep the momentum going and keep that scoreboard ticking over as quickly as possible.
Coles comes in, bowls to Thane, who plays this one to deep square, picks up a single fielded there by Finn Hudson-Prentice. Now, slight concern, because I think it was Jack Leaning who came off a bit earlier on, so we'll have to keep an eye open for that. A single taken by Thane, giving Benkenstein the strike, which is good cricket from Essex. Coles around the wicket in and bowls and let go outside of the off stump, and I guess I just had a quick look at the umpire as if to say, oh, is that a little bit wide? But
it's well bowled there. I think briefly what I spoke about last over, Cole's trying to hug either tight to the stumps or the wide line and getting the wide in there, but Benkenstein drills it down the ground, and I think that's a 4.
Good shot.
Straight down the ground, brilliant from Benkenstein there, hitting through the line. And then, I think what you'll probably see here from Coles is him looking to be forced away from the stumps and try and bowl a bit wider to Benkenstein as he's hitting straight down the ground. I think, like you can see there, James Coles moving his long on fielder straighter just to stop Benkenstein being able to take that low risk boundary straight down the ground.
Coles again, hammered down the ground. This has gone all the way. That's gone a long way.
Sensational bat from that.
Super shot, straight down the ground. Gun barrel straight. That's a super shot. He goes to 36.
Brilliant from Benkenstein there. I think, like you see, first 4 balls of the over already going for 11 runs. He's forced the bowler into changing his hand, and yeah, like you say, if you can pick up any bonus runs in the back end of the over, it's brilliant batting from Benke there.
Coles in again, and he's bowled him. Well, he was looking to do similarly with that delivery, but James Coles gets his revenge. Was that a slightly quicker delivery, Sam?
Yeah, definitely firing one through there. I think he expected Benkenstein to keep going there, and he's got the delivery that he wanted there, full of a length and sort of onto the stumps, but fortunately couldn't execute. But I think I've spoken about it before a couple of times on this commentary stint. Just to keep that momentum going is really important. Obviously unfortunate to lose a wicket, but we've still got some serious firepower in Simon Harmer and Jane Snater to come in. Zam Akhtar as well, he can hit a clean ball. Simon Fernandez too. So we've got a lot of batting still to come. So to keep that momentum really going is vitally important. But again, good piece of bowling from Coles there. But the over already going for 11 runs. Despite losing a wicket, there's still some real momentum from that over. So yeah, some strong hitters to come still.
Jack Leaning is on the field, so I'm not entirely sure who's off. Tamel Mills has still got 2 overs to bowl. I'd imagine Danny Lamb has has been the most economical bowler for Sussex.
Yeah.
2 overs, 1 for 14.
Yeah, I would have thought Millsy will bowl at least one, maybe two of those death overs. Brad Curry, I think, has got one left, so he won't want to, as a captain there, Mills, he won't want to keep the same bowlers going, so he'll want to chop and change. So he's got options still to come.
Crocombe in bowls to Simon Harmer, who clips that one away. Danny Briggs will be disappointed there. Well, it's played firmly away by Simon Harmer, but he will be disappointed. He's such a good fielder, Danny Briggs. It's gone away for 4 runs.
Yeah, difficult, I think, into the sun there, but yeah, very, very good batting from Harmy just to keep that momentum going, and yeah, hopefully we can really project onto a massive score now.
Very briefly, you know Tamal Mills from way back, I guess?
Yeah, a long time ago. I was very young when Millsy was around, but yeah, I still know Tamal very well. He's very close with a few of my chumps and mates who are in tonight, Ollie Devonish and Jack Sterland, who will be looking for a shout out on the live stream. Ollie Devonish will be thinking that he could play a role in this game, but they've got a big game tomorrow for Chelmsford against Buckhurst Hill, so hopefully he's not having too many beers and concentrating on that one.
Well, it is Tamal Mills. Sam, I think you're coming back a bit later, is that
on,
right?
yeah.
In comes Mills over the wicket, bowls and stands up to Lower Thane and plays that one into the offside. Great to see Sal Cuckoo's coming back for some more commentary a little later on. 165 for 5, Harmer on 4, Thane on 3. And we're into the final 3 overs. Also, James Patient joins us from BBC Radio Essex. A bit cooler now, James. It's very pleasant.
Oh, it's been a glorious day here at Chelmsford, hasn't it? Fridays are back.
In comes Mills over the wicket, bowls, and then plays that one down the ground. A bit of fielding by Mills again off of his own bowling, and again there is no run. And just as Essex looked to be taking control there through Benkenstein, that was a crucial wicket taken by James Coles.
Yeah, he looked to be clawing a bit of momentum back for Essex, didn't he, Luke Benkenstein, as Sussex had just halted Essex in their tracks slightly. And now Thane and Harmer are going to have to really put their feet down, accelerate towards the finish line.
Mills back to his mark. Sussex will be pleased the way they fought back here, because after 10 overs, Essex were 104 without loss. Mills in again, bowls. Was outside the off stump, but Thane took a step, probably about a yard outside of the leg stump, and the ball's gone through to John Simpson. So 3 dot balls in a row from Tamal Mills in this, the 18th over.
I'll tell you what, that was right on the wide line, that.
Yeah.
On Tamal Mills, but he's got away with it, and it's very well bowled out the back of the hand. He's got that in his locker, hasn't he? It's really hard for the batter when he's firing it down regularly so fast, and then that sudden change of pace, difficult to pick.
My prediction is this one will be quick. We shall see. In comes Tamal Mills. It's very difficult to see what he's going to bowl. Over the wicket, bowls and drilled down the ground over the head of mid-off. It goes away for 4 runs. It's over pitch there by Tamal Mills. He's got his mid-off up inside the circle. It was drilled over the head of Jack Leaning and goes away for 4 runs.
He's a really powerful player, Noah Thane, who Essex fans have only seen him once this season in the county championship against Surrey, but he made a half-century at the Oval. And he's got another chance this evening, and he's looking to make it count. It's an excellent stroke. Buys him 4 runs.
And just surveys the onside field. I just wonder who's going to bowl this penultimate over from this end. Danny Lamb, just 2 overs, 1 for 14. James Coles has got another over to bowl as well. He's picked up a couple of wickets. But in comes Mills, 169 for 5 over the wicket. Bowls, and that hammered down the ground. It's only a singles. The throw comes. If he hits, he's out. Well, he missed from mid-off. Well, had he hit, I think Noah Thane would have been run out by a good distance. Jack Leaning there with the throw. Yeah, Thane goes through for the single.
It was close, so that would have been curtains. You're right, Adrian.
Yeah.
But Essex, Noah Thane get away with that one.
I guess at this stage of proceedings, it's a risk worth taking, isn't it? You know, still with 5 wickets in hand. But Essex will be wanting to make the most. And as Sam was saying, you're always, it's a fast scoring ground here at Chelmsford.
I think they'll be looking anywhere around 190, 195, be a good score.
Mills in bowls, and Harmer just plays this quietly down to deep backwards square leg, fielded there by Henry Crocombe. Not a very good throw, but John Simpson tidies up. And it is the end of the over, 171 for 5 at the end of the 18th over So we've got 2 overs to go. Thane on 8, Harmer is on 5. Now what's going to be interesting is who does Tamel Mills turn to, and I'm not surprised it's going to be Danny Lamb, who's bowled 2 very economic overs. 2 overs, 1 for 14 for Danny Lamb.
Going at 7 and over in T20s doesn't happen much these days, does it, Adrian? So,
no, and particularly on
a small ground like this,
yeah,
small ground like Chelmsford, as we see the floodlights just been brought to life. I mean, it has been a glorious day, as we keep saying, but the lights starting to fade on us ever so slightly, and Danny Lamb is going to continue this time from the Sir Alistair Cook end, bowling to Simon Harmer. Harmer drills it down the ground to long off. It's just going to be a single. John Simpson, the wicketkeeper, is up to the stumps. Danny Lamb, do you think Adrian is going to be looking to take as much pace off as he can?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he'd have been frustrated in the first weeks of the championship season. He hasn't played at all, but he's been in the squad for every game. So a lot of travelling, a lot of sort of carrying the drinks and all the rest of it. He'll just be glad to be playing some cricket.
And here comes Lamb again, bowling to Noah Thane this time. Noah Thane, oh, he's early on that shot. He's plonked it straight up in the air, and I think he's got away with it. He has, and even better, he's picked up a boundary. Well, he timed that very nicely, Noah Thane. He took one hand off the bat. He was definitely early on the stroke.
He was.
But he's just managed to find a little gap between long on and long off, and that buys him a very precious 4 runs. So Essex on to 176 for 5. I think Danny Lamb would thought for a moment that he was with a chance of getting his second wicket. It wasn't to be. Here he comes in again, bowling to Thane. Outside off stump, slightly back of a length, and that is hammed away through extra cover, and it will just be a single.
Yeah, good bit of fielding out there by Henry Crocombe. He was round very quickly and got in a good throw.
Do you think Sussex will be happy chasing something in the realms of 190, 195?
Yeah, I think they'll feel it's chaseable. I mean, certainly when it was 104 without loss after 10, you think crumbs, Essex could be looking at well in advance of 200 here.
So that's clubbed by Simon Harmer up to long on, and Jack Leaning does the fielding, keeps it to 1. And so about this time of the evening, Adrian, where the fielders get the Essex crowd on their backs. You heard it there as Jack Leaning was going to field the ball.
Yes, Tom Clark had a lot of that last year when he was here.
Yeah, I would imagine that can be quite off-putting. As here comes Lamb again, bowls back of a length, and that is towed, completely mistimed, straight back to the bowler by Noah Thane. No run again early through the stroke, and that is because Danny Lamb is just taking all the pace off the ball, making it very difficult for Noah Thane. He's having to try and muscle it to the boundary.
Well, it's been a really good spell this by Danny Lamb. If he can get out of this last ball of his spell.
Here he is, Danny Lamb bowls, and that's short, no pace again, and that's clubbed straight down the ground by Noah Thane, and he gets 4 runs. In truth, it was a bit of a rank long hop, and it was very slow, and it allowed Noah Thane all the time in the world to pick his spot, and that he did. So, well, the ruins of what had been up to then quite a good over for Danny Lamb, and Essex going quite nicely now.
Yeah, he's
182 for 5 with 1 over left.
He's furious with himself, Danny Lamb. You could just tell the first 4 of the over, it was perhaps a little unfortunate, but that was a poor delivery. So 1 over to go. Tamel Mills is going to bowl it from the Graham Gooch end. He's going to be bowling to Simon Harmer, who's 7 not out off 4 deliveries. Here comes Mills with that skip and a jump at the start of his run. He's in and bowls. Harmer leans back and pulls the ball down to long on. Picks up a single, does Simon Harmer.
He's been in excellent form with the bat this season for Essex in the county championship, so he's maybe slightly higher up the order than you might expect to see him.
He's been a terrific acquisition down the years, hasn't he, Simon Harmer? He must be right up there in terms of signings.
Oh, I think so.
The amount of wickets, the amount of runs, his experience in the field.
This is 10th season now here at Chelmsford.
Well, he's been fabulous. Mills is halfway in, and then he pulls up halfway through his run-up, does Tamel Mills. He completely lost his run there. And you could tell the Chelmsford crowd with a
trying to get in
few
Thane's head there.
good boos.
Yeah, they didn't like that. Former Chelmsford man, of course, Tamel Mills.
And Sam was saying how he knew him from his younger days at Chelmsford. Tamel Mills a little bit. So Tamel these days is How's Tamel? Let's have a look at my notes.
He's 33, I believe.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
In comes Mills.
It feels like he's been around forever.
Over the wicket bowls, and Thane plays that to mid-off. They take a single fielded there by it's Jack Leaning there at mid-off, so it's just a single taken. Mills will be pleased with this.
It's so exciting to watch, isn't he? Tymor Mills has been plagued throughout his career with his back condition.
Yeah.
But it is remarkable how he's still going and still bowling so fast.
Yes. And skipper of the side, has been skipper for the last, this is his 4th season in charge as skipper of the T20 side. He waits at the end of his run. Comes in towards us to bowl to Simon Harmer. He's in and bowls, and Hammers. Oh, that's a very good bit of fielding. Tom Alsop there gets in the throw. Tamel Mills can't collect the ball cleanly, but what a brilliant bit of fielding that was by Tom Alsop, because that saved a certain boundary. Diving away to his left at backward point, that was excellent.
Superb fielding, but not great running from the Essex boys. They do get away with it in the end. But it was a great shot, but an equally brilliant stop in the field. Tymor Mills just couldn't gather that cleanly, could he?
No, I hope Tamel's right hand is okay. He got struck on it earlier on, and he just looked as if he was slightly favouring it there. So let's hope everything is okay. But he's on his way now, running in from the Graham Gooch end. He's in and bowls, and clubbed around to the onside by Noah Thane. They've taken one, they'll think about 2, but they won't come back for the second. This is a good final over from Tamel Mills. Total goes up by 1, 186 for 5. 2 balls remaining.
Well, I think both teams will be relatively happy with this. Essex going to look to close at around 190, and they've given themselves every chance. Often, though, Chelmsford being such a small ground, 200 is your safety net these days. The way T20 cricket has progressed. But Essex, well, they've got plenty of good bowlers in their ranks, and more so than the man on strike, Simon Harmer.
Mills, penultimate ball of the innings, over the wicket and bowls, and Harmer plays that into the covers, picks up a single, fielded there by Daniel Hughes. Harmer picks up a single, Sussex will be happy enough about that. 1 ball to go, 187 for 5. But it's a very good competitive total from Essex. Will they be slightly disappointed having been 104 without loss after 10?
I think so. Having Paul Walter and Michael Pepper both in, both set, both getting to their half centuries, you thought Essex were going to be on for a mammoth total. I was thinking around 220.
Yeah.
And Sussex done ever so well to claw it back in the middle overs.
Yep.
You look at the likes of Danny Lamb, James Cole's getting an important wicket as well. Bowled very nicely in the middle part of the game.
Mills over the wicket bowls, and Thane is going to keep that way. That's going to be probably 4 runs to finish off the innings. Just straying down the leg side was Tamel Mills. He'll be annoyed about that. Clipped away by Noah Thane, and picks up a boundary off the final ball of the innings, and that makes the total 191 for 5 as the players make their way off. That's a good total. I mean, I know it's a quick scoring ground, but they've got the runs on the board, Essex.
Well, exactly. I don't think you can argue with that. If you'd have offered them 191, having lost the toss as well, been put into bat, I wonder what Essex would have chosen to do. But they can't be too disappointed. 191 for 5. Couple of standout performances with the bat. Paul Walter making 58, Michael Pepper making 52. Possibly just some disappointment that neither of them could go on and make a really big score. A little cameo from Luke Benkenstein, and Noah Thane finishing on 23 not out off just 15 balls. Simon Harmer, his captain at the other end, 10 not out from 7. But Adrian, from a Sussex point of view, will they be now going in at the break confident of they can come out and chase this down? Very experienced batting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll feel that they could have been chasing more. I think they might have feared the worst at 104 without loss, maybe looking at over 200. So I think they'll be very pleased with the way that they've pulled it back. I mean, in terms of the batting lineup, as you say, they do bat deep. Daniel Hughes has been in good form in the county championship, as has Tom Clark. James Coles hasn't been in the best of form in the championship, but this is a different kettle of fish as far as James is concerned. Then the experience of Simpson, Alsop and Leaning. So plenty of batting for Sussex. I think we could be in for a really good contest.
And we'll find out after the break. We're going to take a short, or probably about 10-minute break or so, and then we'll be back with commentary. Victoria Polly will come back for BBC Essex. We'll see you then, whereas Sussex will require 192 to win.
Philip, how old are you, sir?
I'm 11.
You could see if you are in Thatcher's golden seat. lucky person sitting in that golden seat is going to take on a case of Thatchers tonight. Christmas come early. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled.
Excuse me.
The Sussex shots, openers, number 89, Dan Hughes, and number 27, Tom Clark.
Welcome back to Chelmsford for the Sussex innings. Essex making 191 for 5 in their 20 overs in this T20 blast opener at Chelmsford, where the evening is setting in now, but we've still got beautiful blue skies, just with those slight tinges of purple and red as the sun's setting and the floodlights just coming on. Essex, I think, will be pleased with that batting performance, with a top score at the top of the order for Paul Walter, 58. Michael Pepper, the other opener, making 52 as well. It was squeezed in the middle of the innings by Sussex, and they will need 192 to win. I'm Victoria Polly from BBC Essex alongside Adrian Harms from BBC Radio Sussex. And we'll take you through the opening parts of this Sussex innings. Adrian, you think Sussex will be confident?
Well, I think they'll be pleased they restricted it if you are restricting to 191, because at 104 without loss after 10, I thought Essex were on course of well over 200. But it's still a good total. Sussex have got to score best part of 10 and over to win the game. But it is a fast outfield, and Sussex do back quite deep. So I think the game's in the balance, Victoria.
Daniel Hughes and Tom Clark are the opening pair for Sussex.
And Hughes hits this one away, and he gets a boundary straight away, all outside of the off stump from Shane Snater, and it's cut away by Daniel Hughes down to third man. That's exactly what happened off the first ball of Sussex innings as well.
Yes, Paul Walter did something similar, didn't he?
He did, didn't he? Yes. So Daniel Hughes on his way. He's made 100 in his last 2 championship matches. Daniel Hughes, he made 100 against Leicestershire at home, and then 100 last week down at Somerset. So he's in good form, although this is clearly a completely different kettle of fish, as in comes Stater from the Graham Gooch end around the wicket bowls to Hughes, who works this one to backward point, fielded there, or to short third man really, fielded there by Paul Walter, and there is no run. So only 2 men allowed outside of the 30-yard circle. One is at deep square leg, the other, oh there it is, down at deep backward point, almost like a third man, as Snater is back to his mark. Keeper Pepper standing up to the stumps as Snater is in around the wicket bowls, and Hughes drives firmly to mid-off, and there is no run. That was one of those that sort of jars the hands from Daniel Hughes. He didn't quite time that, and there is no run. Lovely buzz around the ground, packed house here at Chelmsford tonight, just a fantastic sight. And it just helps when you get good weather at the start of the, it just sort of gets everything up. I know it's going to be good all over the weekend as well. It gets the blast off to a really good start. As in comes Snater around the wicket bowls, and Hughes, I think he rather changed his mind in that shot. I think he might have been deceived slightly by the pace from Snater. He was looking to work that one through backward point. In the end, he just played it straight back to the bowler, and there is no run. So 4 balls gone of this Sussex reply, needing 192 to win. As Victoria was saying, Paul Walter top scoring with 58, Michael Pepper 52. Essex off to a great start, 104 without loss off the first 10 overs. Slater in, bowls to Hughes, who clips this down to that fielder who comes running in off the Noah Thane from the deep square leg boundary. Throws to Michael Pepper, and Hughes goes to 5. And Sussex with an all left-handed opening partnership here. Tom Clark doing the honours. Daniel Hughes comes down and has a quick word to him. Just goes to show how cricketers need to change, because the game down at Taunton this week, Tom Clark was sort of batting to survive for Sussex in that game, and did very well as well. But this is a different kettle of fish, as in comes Slater, plays into the offside. Need to get a bit of a move on here, but they comfortably they'll go through for the single. So, end of the opening over, 1 over gone, and Sussex are 6 without loss, with Hughes on 5 and Clark on 1.
I think at the other end we're going to see Zum Akhtar open the bowling for Essex. It's the first time we've seen him, obviously, in this T20 blast format for Essex, but previously been with Gloucestershire. We've only seen him briefly in the Championship as well for Essex. He played in the defeat at Warwickshire, but he picked up a side injury, which has kept him out of contention for the last couple of games. So this is his first outing in the T20 kit. Essex, it's the navy blue on the back, the navy trousers, and the red front of the shirts. They play the shorter format of the game in. So Akhtar is bowling from the Sir Alistair Cook end as the floodlights come on further, and that one is over the infield from Clark, away for 4 runs. It's a good start with the bat, and another boundary off the first ball of the over.
Yeah, nice shot by Tom Clark. A bit too much width, wasn't there, from Zum Akhtar, but with the field in, Tom Clark with a swing of the arms and belted that one away. Lovely shot. He's been in good form with the bat, Tom Clark, of late. And that will do his confidence good as well.
Akhtar into Clark once more, just uses the wrist to dab this one down. There is a man out at deep backward point, so that's just a single. Into double figures though, 11 without loss.
Yeah, nicely controlled shot by Tom Clark, who was one of the few to emerge from the defeat at Somerset with any praise from Paul Farbrace, who wasn't very happy with the batting performance this week. Daniel Hughes probably excluded from that, who made his 100. And on strike now.
Hughes waits as Akhtar is in over the wicket. He's flashed at that one, and diving away was Michael Pepper to try and take the catch. It's gone for 4 runs as Michael Pepper is left in a heap on the ground.
I mean, it sounds really harsh, doesn't it? Does that go down as a chance? I mean, he did amazingly well even to get a glove on that, I think, to be honest. Well,
it would have been quite the spectacular catch.
It would have been a brilliant
Michael Pepper
catch.
managed to hold. He went one-handed away to his left-hand side, but in the end, it probably just helped it on with some pace towards the boundary. 15 without loss. Hughes is on to 9. Akhtar is in. Shorter delivery, which is whistled away once more to the boundary. And Sussex just putting away these deliveries from Zum Akhtar. They're on to 19 without loss now in the second over.
yeah, a little bit too much width, wasn't there, from Akhtar, really, and Daniel Hughes having got away with that edge through to Michael Pepper. I mean, I say it would have been an absolutely brilliant catch had Pepper taken that.
Can he claw this back? Akhtar is in. Hughes dabs that one to short third. No opportunity for the run there.
And pretty much, would they sell out all the T20s here?
Yes, yeah, it's always really popular, especially the Friday nights, which I think
And are most of them Friday night games, or does it vary?
It does vary. I think we've got a Tuesday in a couple of weeks. We've got
Right.
the Sunday afternoon, which is always a nice one for a family.
Yeah.
Next week, you always got to get that, the family vibe on the Sunday afternoons. As Akhtar is in to Hughes, who takes a swipe at that one into the leg side. It has come off the pad. They come through for the leg bye at the end of the over, which has brought 13 runs the way of Sussex, who are 19 without loss after 2.
Yes, Sussex have got a game actually, so a game on Bank Holiday Monday, then we wait a few days, then we have a game at Hove against Middlesex. And when I saw that I thought, oh, that's the same day, it's an evening game, it's the same day as the Champions League final. But as it turns out, I think that kicks off at 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're hoping that, I don't know if they can put it on a big screen or quite what, but people might get a double dose of cricket and football on that particular day.
I bet Hove's good. We've got a Friday evening at Hove to come, haven't we?
Have we? It's good on a Friday night. Yeah, it's like this on a Friday night at Hove. So that'd be good fun. We look forward to that. Coming in from the Graham Gooch end, bowling to Hughes, drilled into the offside. That
Charlie
is,
Bennett.
thank you very much. And it says dot ball. So 20 without loss. There was 14 off that over from Zumaktar. At the same stage, well, pretty much neck and neck. At the end of the second over, Essex were 19 without loss. So nothing in it really, as Daniel Hughes wanders around at his crease and waits. And Bennett, tall right arm around the wicket, in and bowls, and Hughes plays this one down the ground. I thought for a moment that was going to end up in the hands of Simon Harmer, but it was wide of Simon Harmer and runs away from 4 runs. A nice shot by Daniel Hughes. He goes to 17 and Sussex to 24 without loss. Just momentarily, I thought that was going straight to Simon Harmer, but in the end it was well clear.
Yeah, we heard from Sam Cook earlier talking about Charlie Bennett. He's highly rated, 20-year-old in this Essex setup. He did make a T20 debut last year. It was rather a baptism of fire at Somerset.
He comes again around the wicket, bowls, and Hughes flicks this one away on the onside. This is going to be more runs for Daniel Hughes. It was slightly over-pitched from Charlie Bennett, pitching around middle of the leg, and Hughes just helped himself through mid-wicket for 4 runs. Back-to-back boundaries for Daniel Hughes. He goes to 21. Yes, just peering around the side of the scoreboard there. So, under a little bit of pressure here, having conceded those 2 boundaries. 28 without loss. Bennett in again, bowls, and Hughes looking to help that one away on the leg side. Doesn't time it at all, the ball dribbles onto the leg side and just picks up a single, does Daniel Hughes, fielded there by Shane Snater. Total goes to 29 without loss. I think that came off of Daniel Hughes' bat. Yes, there we go. Oh no, that was a leg by. 21 to Hughes, 6 to Clark. Bennett back to his mark at the Graham Gooch end of the ground. Just a few wispy clouds in the sky, floodlights on. Chelmsford looks a picture as in comes Bennett and bowls, and Clark hammers that one away. That's a lovely shot by Tom Clark. That's gone many a mile. That's gone for 6. He's just drilled that one straight over mid-off, effortless by Tom Clark. That is a lovely shot. He goes to 12 and Sussex to 35 without loss.
Yeah,
Beautifully played.
straight into the crowd. Someone's unsuspecting with their pint over there. Just watches the ball sail over them. Might even have ended up out of the ground.
I think it did. Yeah. Well, good shot by Tom Clark, and in fact they've got a new ball coming out as well. He's such an elegant player, Tom Clark. It all must have come right out the middle of the bat. So this has been a good over for Sussex. 14 off the bat and a leg by. And Charlie Bennett will be looking to get out of this over without any more damage if he can. He's around the wicket and bowls. And Clark drills this one down the ground. He's going to get caught. Oh, well, that's a rather sloppy shot by Tom Clark, I have to say. Didn't really need to play that shot. Bennett picks up the wicket. And Tom Clark will be really disappointed, having drilled that ball down the ground for 6. He then plays a loose shot. He's caught at mid-on and the wicket goes down. And what was turning into a really good start for Sussex, and is still a good start, is rather spoilt by that dismissal. End of the over, 35 for 1.
Yeah, some lovely shots in that over, and just on that occasion didn't get hold of it properly, maybe just slightly, like you say, a bit sloppy, and Simon Harmer there to capture the first T20 wicket for Charlie Bennett, and a good recovery for him as well, because we've seen a couple of those big hits in that over. So while that ball was being retrieved, there was a bit of a conflab between him and his captain, and Charlie Bennett gets the wicket, and Essex have a wicket in the power play.
Yeah, and well done Charlie Bennett, because it's not easy, is it, when you've gone for two sixes in the over, and he's probably thinking, I don't want to go for another one. The next minute he's picked up a wicket. So well done to Charlie Bennett. And And the new man in for Sussex is James Coles, who's a very fine player, but just been a little short of runs in the county championship as James. I think he'll be pleased to be playing some white ball cricket. Such a stylish player when he gets going. But he won't be facing because it's going to be Daniel Hughes was on strike.
And Shane Snater's switched to ends, so he'll be running away from us. Hughes on 21 weight, so Snater is in. There's a big appeal for being struck on the pad there from Snater. Didn't get a huge amount of support from elsewhere. The ball just dribbles out into the pitch, and it's a dot ball to start Snater's second over.
Just when it hit the pads, I just wondered for a moment. I think it's funny how these games change. If a wicket had gone down, then suddenly a 35 without loss, and all of a sudden you're 35 for 2. 40 for Sussex, given not out.
Snater's coming around the wicket to Hughes, who's driving back at the bowler, who stops it. Does Snater.
Good stop that, Victoria, wasn't it? That was hit pretty hard by Daniel Hughes.
Shane Snater took 9 wickets in the T20 Blast last season, but he pretty much was ever present for Essex across all formats. They really were thin on the ground when it came to their bowling department, and he really stepped up for Essex, and they really had to rely on him as he is into Hughes, who's gone high, he's gone over mid-off, and it's away to the boundary for 4 runs.
Well, good shot by Daniel Hughes with the mid-off inside the 30-yard circle. Again, it's slightly deceiving here at Chelmsford. When he hit it, I thought that's going straight to mid-off, but it actually cleared the fielder at mid-off via Mulder by quite a distance in the end, and he's a tall man, is Mulder. Good shot from Hughes.
39 for 1, Hughes is on to 25. As Snater is in, he's edged that one, and it will run away just fine of third for 4 runs. I'm not sure he was entirely confident where it was going to end up, but it has ended up over the boundary rope, and Sussex move on to 43 for 1.
I think it's not fair here at Chelmsford. All these people are walking by carrying pints of beer.
And I saw a nice Pimm's earlier, which I think
yeah,
was
that would
lovely
have been very
on a
nice
Friday
too.
evening.
Yeah. Well, people enjoying themselves.
We can watch on. As Snater is into Hughes, who's turned that one round the corner. There's a dive on the boundary, but there's not enough to stop it going over the rope for another 4. So successive boundaries for Daniel Hughes. He is on to 33, and Sussex are on to 47 in pursuit of the 192 they need to win.
Well, this is turning into a decent over for Sussex, with 12 coming off of it now.
Hughes waits. Snater is in and bowls. Shorter delivery. It's pushed towards mid-on, who is diving. That's the captain, Simon Harmer, who's dived over the ball, and it's run away to the boundary for 4 runs. This is proving expensive for Essex at the end of the 4th. We had 4 fours from it, and Sussex 51 for 1 now.
He'll be very annoyed about that, Simon Harmer. You can see the way that he thumped the ground. He was perhaps a little slow moving across to it, but he'll be annoyed with that, the skipper. Well, Sussex and yourself to a good start, 51 for 1 after 4 at the same stage. Essex were 31 without loss. So Sussex ahead at the minute, but things can change so quickly in T20 cricket. Daniel Hughes on to 37 off 19 deliveries. And it is going to be, I think Zim Akhtar is going to come on from the Graham Gooch end, so a change of ends. First over went for 13. He's going to be bowling the first ball to James Coles. No slips in place, still just the 2 men outside the 30-yard circle as you have to have at this stage. In comes Akhtar over the wicket, bowls, and Coles flicks this. That's a typical James Coles shot. Well, that was a shot that was full of confidence from James Coles, who I say has struggled for runs in the county championship, but he is such a good player. You feel that it's only a matter of time before he gets back in the groove. That was a little short, and he's just tucked that one away beautifully through mid-wicket for 4 runs. Nice shot by Coles to get on his way. Sussex go to 55 for 1. Akhtar again bowls, and Coles drives down the ground, and this time Simon Harmer does get across and prevents the boundary, but Coles goes through for a single.
He wasn't going to miss that, was
No,
he,
he
Simon
wasn't.
Harmer? He was determined.
He was. You're right. Absolutely everything was behind that from Simon Harmer. Coles goes to 5. Sussex 56 for 1. Daniel Hughes surveys the leg side boundary. And Actor is in again from the Graham Gooch end around the wicket bowls to Hughes, who pulls and picks up a single down to deep backward square leg, fielded on the boundary down there by Noah Thane. One more to Hughes. He goes to 38. And Sussex to 51 here on BBC Radio Essex, BBC Radio Sussex. Victoria Polly and Adrian Harms, your commentary team on the most glorious evening at Chelmsford. It's a bit cooler now, which is welcome. A good win for Essex women today as well in the first match played here this afternoon. In comes Actor, bowls to Coles, who plays that one away through a mid-wicket. He's picked up another boundary. A good effort on that leg side boundary. Can't prevent the ball going over the ropes. And James Coles picks up his second boundary of the over. He goes to 9. And Sussex to 59 for. I'm not sure who that is out
It's
there.
Benkenstein. It was a good effort. He was tumbling to try and stop it. It did actually hit his foot. He just missed it with the hands, and then over the rope it went.
He's got his orange boots on there at deep backward square leg, as racing in again. Actor bowls to Coles, who drills that down the ground. Another nice looking shot by James Coles. That's going to run away for 4 more. Simon Harmer can't cut that one off. So another good over for Sussex. 3 boundaries in the over from James Coles. He goes to 13. And Sussex going on very nicely here. They're 65 for 1. James Coles, who's sold at auction in the 100 for a huge amount of money. Perhaps beginning to show why. As Actor is in again, bowls, and Coles hammers that down the ground. That's gone all the way. That's gone for 6. He's absolutely belted that down the ground as James Coles, and that is an excellent over for Sussex. James Coles goes to 19, and at the end of the 5th over, Sussex are 71 for 1, and there were 20 runs came off of that over. At the same stage, Essex were 40 without loss. So Sussex with the upper hand in terms of runs, but just 1 wicket gone down, that of Tom Clark, and these two have very quickly added 36 runs for this wicket.
Well, yeah, I think it's the balance, isn't it? Would you have rather had fewer runs on the board and the wickets in hand, or I think I'd probably rather be in Sussex position, where you can see how they're making the most of this bowling, and I just worry for Essex where the wickets are going to come from. I think Leanne Moulder into the attack now to see if he can break this partnership that's building between Hughes and Coles. Moulder, Essex's overseas, is in, and that one has come off the bottom edge of the bat from Hughes, and it's played to the captain Simon Harmer in a mid-on position for no run. The man who was joining us on commentary in the Essex innings, Sam Cook, he'll be a big miss for Essex in terms of his bowling and what he brings to a side and the wickets he can take as well. So it's up to the rest of this Essex bowling unit to step up, as Moulder is on his way in over the wicket to Hughes, takes a shuffle forward. Again, it comes off the bottom edge. He hasn't timed that properly, and Benkenstein will field it square of the wicket. They'll take a single.
Yeah, it was great to have him on commentary, wasn't it? Just
really good,
so
yeah.
good to get the insights of the players to you know what they're bowling, why they're bowling, and also insight. Interesting what Sam was saying about James Coles. He played a bit with him around England Lions, and I guess all these guys kind of know each other and their strengths and weaknesses. Really good to hear.
Essex just making a change in the field. So Makhtar's going out on the boundary at deep mid-wicket. So Moulder is in, and that one is turned towards backward of square, fielded for a single. This is, considering the runs we've seen leaking from the last couple of overs, Moulder's just trying to claw back this final over of the power play.
Should have checked my records actually. I think it was a couple of years ago here that Daniel Hughes made a lot of runs very quickly. So I think he likes this ground.
We might have Sam Cook back again. Well, he can talk us through how Essex have started with the ball as Mulder is in.
Shot.
Fuller delivery, which is volleyed away by Daniel Hughes for 4 more to the total. He's on to 43.
I mean, in terms of an authentic cricket shot, that was probably one of the shots of the evening, really, because that was just a half volley, and it was beautifully played by Hughes, who, as I say, made back-to-back hundreds and looks in good form tonight as well. That was a lovely shot.
Sussex 77 for 1. We've got 2 balls of the power play left. Hughes has made 43 from 23. The left-hander waits. Mulder is in. Another Fuller delivery. Yorker length is shy at the stumps from Walter, who was fielding it at short third as they scampered through for the single. 78 for 1.
Yeah, he just had to get his skates on there, didn't he, James Coles? You can see he was running to the danger end. Well, Sussex going along here at nearly just over 13 and over.
Well ahead of the rate required at this stage as Mulder is in, and that one's clipped into the leg side by Coles. Just for a single on that occasion. End of the over, end of the power play, 79 for 1. So Sussex will be pleased with that. They have lost the wicket of Tom Clark, but Daniel Hughes and James Coles going along nicely for Sussex in pursuit of the 192 that they need to win this T20 Blast opener. Essex bowler Sam Cook with his arm in a sling, who's back with us on commentary. Sam, what have you made of that power play for Sussex?
Yeah, obviously a little bit frustrating from a bowling point of view, but a power play that's to be expected at this ground, especially under lights. It's difficult to defend. I think what you'll see now through this next phase is our spinners do what they do well and hopefully pick up a few wickets. Critch coming into the attack here, obviously a very attacking wrist spinner. Hopefully he can pick up a couple of wickets, and we know that's the best way to slow the rate. So a couple of good overs here, and we'll be right back in this contest.
So Matt Critchley to bowl from the Graham Gooch end under darkening skies. He is in, bit of width there from Coles as he plays that one out into the offside. It's picked up by Akhtar, and they just come through for the one. 80 for 1.
Yeah, with Sussex as well, an awful lot of left-handers through their lineup. I think you see a pretty even square boundary tonight, so it's not as a bigger sort of tactical point as what it can be sometimes here, especially when playing sort of towards the left of the square as we look out tonight. But yeah, I think Critch will be looking to sort of go across the left-hander here, using a lot of googlies and trying to pick out a wicket.
So he is in. Oh, that's up in the air. This should be caught. There's a lot of time to think about it on the boundary. And there is the second wicket. The spin having an impact for Essex. Hughes goes for 44. Essex have a second. Sussex 80 for 2.
Yeah, quality bowling there from Critch, looking to go sort of googly across the left-hander, caught long off. I think similarly to what we saw in the Essex innings, obviously Sussex trying to maintain the momentum from the start that they had, but wickets are a huge way to slow that run rate. And yeah, really good piece of bowling from Critchley there, just sliding it across the left-hander, and well caught by Vian Mulder there at long off. Never an easy catch, especially under the lights here. But yeah, hopefully we can keep taking some wickets and slowing that momentum.
So Essex take that second wicket, and Hughes goes for 44. Matt Critchley having that impact that you were just talking about, Sam.
Absolutely, I think what you'll see here, similarly to a lot of the Essex batters coming in, Coles being the set batter, you look at John Simpson here trying to sort of get a one, get off strike, and get Coles a set batter back on strike. But Simon Harmer here, the captain, bringing in a short mid-wicket and a short extra cover to try and sort of stop that one. I think you can see here Paul Walter coming tight at point as well, so they're going to try and stop Simpson getting off strike and build a few dots on him if possible.
Simpson waits, he takes a shuffle forward, well, and there's a statement of intent. He's whacked that one back over the bowler's head and away for 6. It didn't even bounce before the boundary rope for John Simpson.
Yeah, good batting from Simpson there. Similarly to what you saw with the sort of the Essex batters coming in, particularly with Benkenstein, looking to be positive early, really short straight boundary, so looking to take a low risk boundary option there.
Critchley in, and that one is flashed into the leg side by Simpson to take a single. I was looking at his figures from last year, high score of 58, averaged 21 with the bat, the wicketkeeper for Sussex.
Yeah, Simpson, similarly to a lot of these Sussex players, very strong square of the wicket. I think Cole's a set batter back on strike now. He'll be looking to hit down the ground, takes a single out there in front of cover. He'll be looking to hit that short straight boundary, a tough end to bowl, but I think what you see from the captain Harmer there, bringing the leg spinner into the attack, trying to recognise the fact that they needed to take a wicket to stem that flow, and obviously gets the wicket early on, and still be looking to do that throughout the back end of this over, with Simpson on strike now.
88 for 2 as Critchley is in. Oh, I don't think he meant that, but it will bounce safely square of the wicket into the offside, and they'll come through for a single.
Yeah, Critch there nearly getting another dismissal, which is ultimately with your wrist spinner what you want to do. It's an option where you know that the batters are going to look to be aggressive, but it can certainly pick up wickets as well, which like I said before, is the best way of stemming the flow of runs. Simon Harmer bringing himself into the attack now with the left-handed batter, trying to spin it away from John Simpson's arc. I think you'll see Simpson here try and play sort of maybe a reverse sweep or look to beat Critchley, the short extra cover fielder here, trying to take that low risk boundary early as possible. Harmy here bringing the mid wicket up as well, trying to, again, like I said, trying to steal a dot or two if he can early in this over and stem an early boundary.
Will be Harmer to the left-handed Simpson. Harmer is in. Oh, that's big from John Simpson. That's gone all the way for 6. He's hit that one into the leg side, and he's hit it well over the boundary for maximum runs at the start of this 8th over.
Yeah, again, a good piece of batting from Simpson, trying to get that early boundary in the over. Not a bad delivery there from Simon Harmer, but I think he identified with the mid-wicket being up the slog sweep was a low-risk boundary option. Obviously, he got it all the way for 6, but the mid-wicket going back straight away, and Harmy bringing that extra man up on the offside.
95 for 2. Harmer into Simpson, this time along the ground, through the covers. There is a man out patrolling the boundary, which is Vian Mulder, so it would just be 2 runs to the score for Simpson, who moves on to 16. Sussex 97 for 2.
Yeah, again, trying to beat that short extra cover man, accessing the angle to get a 2. Unusual at Chelmsford, but smart batting.
And this time it's towards deep mid-wicket along the ground, and it will be picked up in the field. Just a single on that occasion for the Sussex wicketkeeper.
Yeah, key fielders in key possessions here again, similarly to how Sussex went about it. Noah Thane, very, very good fielder out at long on, and Shane Snater at mid-wicket, extremely fast across the ground, stopping that too. So a good win in the field there for us.
Harmer is in, and that one's clipped into the leg side by Coles, who's been watching on as Simpson has got himself set. 24 for him now, 99 for 2, just short of the 100 mark. The Sussex chasing 192 to win.
Yeah, smart batting from Coles there. Boundary earlier in the over, so not needing to be too aggressive. So
Harmer is in, and Simpson just misjudged the flight of that ball, plays it into the ground, and a short third comes in to pick it up. We haven't really seen too much of Simon Fernandez. We didn't see him with the bat, but he's out there in the field for Essex. Get your thoughts on him in a moment, Sam, as Harmer is in, and that's driven back to the bowler at the end of the 8th over. Sussex are 99 for 2. So while Sam tells us a bit more about Simon Fernandez, I'm going to make way for another cricketer who started out at Writtle. So we have the two Writtle boys on commentary together. James Patience coming back in from BBC Essex.
yeah, really good close out to that over from Simon. Obviously, he was under pressure early with that 6 first ball of the over, but to close out with a single, a dot, and another single, no too much harm there from that over. Obviously, 11 coming from it, and a good way to close out the over. Harmy going back to Matt Critchley here. So looking to try and take another wicket, expecting James Coles to be positive here early in the over.
Evening, Sam.
Evening, James. Oh, this is rolling it back to Rittle
Roll-
days, isn't
rolling
it?
back
Yeah.
the years, yeah.
Long time, but
It seems like many years ago now for you.
it does. Definitely coaching you down at Rittle when you were a lot younger than I was. But yeah, it's the years have certainly flown by, and yeah, slightly different setting to Paradise Road here at the.
Not quite as
At the
nice here,
ground.
is it?
Yeah, I mean the tees could be a bit more like Paradise Road, but yeah, no, it's still pretty good.
Oh, that's a
Catch
great
it,
shot
catch it.
by John Simpson over the head of long off. It's gone the distance. He's come out with real intent here as the Sussex wicket keeper, and he's making Essex pay. Critchley just giving it a bit of air, and he's gone the distance.
Yeah, very, very close there. Obviously, such a short boundary straight towards that end, and he's not got a lot of that, Simpson, but enough to go for 6.
That's just fired in on leg stump, and Simpson just works that round the corner. They're going to hurry through for a quick single. Sam, if you were out there bowling now, what would you be doing? Obviously, it's quite an unforgiving place to bowl, Chelmsford.
Yeah, it's really tough. Obviously, trying to get the balance here right from the captain's point of view, trying to be positive and take wickets is whilst keeping the flow of runs still as Coles slaps one out to mid-wicket for a single. I think, yeah, it's trying to get the balance right of trying to take wickets but also stem the flow of runs. You've got to be brave and toss the odd one out towards the wide line. I think you'll see this maybe from Critch here. Probably not this ball, but last ball of the over, looking to give it a bit more air and try and take a wicket.
He fires it in again, Matt Critchley, and that's drilled up to the fielder at long off. It's going to be another single, so Essex need a couple of quick wickets now just to break this partnership and stem the flow of runs. Sussex going on very nicely. John Simpson moves on to 24 from just 11 balls, so striking it over 200. James Coles also going over 200, 26 off 12.
Yeah, like you say, I think the way that Simpson's played since he's come in, he's not allowed the bowlers to settle, the momentum to sway, which is showing his experience there. But I think, like you see, the movements from the captain here in Critchley and bowling himself harm to the left-hander particularly. Obviously trying to pick up a wicket 7 and over, 7.5 and over is relatively straightforward chasing in any game of T20 cricket, particularly at Chelmsford. But you know, here as a team that we've played an awful lot of cricket at this ground and a lot of experience in that team, that we need to take wickets here. So Harmy obviously trying to make that breakthrough and stop the flow of runs that way.
Here is Harmer around the wicket, bowling to James Coles, who just works that up to long off, and there's going to be the 1 run. Moulders here at long on just beneath us, and Sam, obviously, other than the unfortunate incident that happened this week, what's he been like in the dressing rooms? Obviously brings a lot of experience with him.
Hugely. He's been a phenomenal addition to the group. Unfortunately, getting on the wrong end of his striking this week.
Oh, John Simpson goes big. He goes very big. It's gone all the way. It's another maximum. Simon Harmer just tossing it up outside off stump, and John Simpson, as he likes to do, gets down on one knee and plants it out of the ground. Not a big hit over to that side here at Chelmsford.
Yeah, again, good batting from Simpson, taking his boundary early in the over and allowing him to then sort of negate the rest of the over. But just going back to Vian, yeah, he's brought a wealth of experience in both formats to the group, and he's a great guy as well, despite him breaking my wrist, unfortunately. But yeah,
It's very good of you to say.
I know. Yeah,
Very
I'll give him credit where he's an incredibly nice guy as well. He's only apologised, I reckon, 150 times in the last 4 days. So, no, he's been brilliant addition to the group. 4-day cricket, brings a wealth of experience in T20 as well. So, yeah, he's hopefully going to be an Eagle for a long time to come.
Coles back on strike after Simpson took a single off the 3rd ball, and there's going to be another couple of runs here, just played up to mid-off by James Coles, so these two going along very nicely.
Yeah, I think you see the value here of Simpson taking the aggressive option early in the over, especially with a run rate of under 7 now, that they don't really need to be too aggressive late in the over.
What's that come off? Maybe an outside edge there. Harmy's just fired it in, possibly. Has that hit the pad?
I think it's inside edge onto pad and then scuttles through for a single. Like I say, if you can, as a batting team here, if you can just keep the scoreboard ticking towards the end of the over when pressure's off because you took that boundary early on, it makes the chase that more manageable.
Here's Harmer again, last ball of the over, fires that one in again, doesn't give John Simpson any room to work with there, and he does well to just nudge that into the leg side, come through for a single. So he'll keep the strike. 10 overs gone. We're halfway through this Sussex innings. The visitors are 122 for 2. They only need 70 to win. 60 balls left to do it. So as you say there, Sam, no need to take any real risks. They can just work the gaps, take the odd boundary when it comes.
Yeah, obviously very fast scoring ground, particularly when chasing under lights here. I think obviously not winning the toss, not ideal, but the game far from over. The one thing with T20 cricket is you can see that momentum shift very, very quickly. So Simon, going back to the experience in the overseas pro in Vian here, obviously looking to break sort of the rhythm of the spin that there's been in the last 3 overs. So I think you'll see a pretty generic spinners field here from Vian, looking to use his change-ups and hopefully lure Simpson into that aggressive option early in the over, hopefully leading to a wicket. So round the wicket here as well, looking to target the stumps.
Here is Mulder, bowls into the pitch down the leg side, and it's going to be called wide by the umpire. He's got 2 fielders out on the fence on the leg side, deep mid wicket and a deep square leg. So do you think that's what he's looking to do, bowl it into the pitch fairly straight and try and get Simpson caught on the hook?
Absolutely. I think the one thing I'd be looking to do to Simpson here is cramp him for room, looking to bolt into him. Obviously he's strong square of the wicket, but he does tend to hit it up when it's on the leg side. This is exactly what I'd be looking to do as well, come round the wicket and hopefully pick out one of those men on the square fence.
Here's Mulder again around the wicket, and that's high, that is hooked. Fielder could be in the game here, no, he's going to watch that sail over his head and into the stands, possibly caught in the crowd there. That's another big hit from John Simpson. He modes along to 38 from just 15 balls. Sussex ends 129 for 2.
Yeah, Simpson obviously capitalising on that good start from the Sussex top order in the power play, just allowing him to free his arms and look to go up with it, sort of no indecision there. I think you can see quite clearly how Vian was trying to get him out, but in this situation you've got to gamble and risk a boundary to try and take a wicket.
Here comes Vian Mulder again looking to respond. That's into the pitch once more. Simpson just swats it back past the bowler and picks up a single. Essex really need a couple of wickets here. Sam, we were talking earlier about your early days. I often kick myself for not paying more attention when you get coaching me in the nets, but you got into the Essex system relatively late. I think you were about 18 when you properly broke through into the academy. And when you were sort of a teenager, did you think cricket wasn't maybe going to be an option for you?
Yeah, I guess I didn't really know. Like,
again, bowls a full toss this time.
but it's
be
okay.
close to the line.
It's okay.
It's okay. Run through for a
Oh
quick
no,
single.
he's given it.
Oh, he has given it. So that'll be a free hit. So it's another bonus for Sussex.
Yeah, I think the one thing I found, sort of obviously being a bit of a late developer, not being in the pathway the whole way through, didn't sort of focus too much on it. I looked to explore sort of my other options at university and school as well, but I think it made me a better cricketer for it. The experience I had to go to Loughborough and learn my game and train sort of like a pro before becoming a pro. So yeah, everyone has their different path. I think you see various ways of getting into the game, but I think the great thing with cricket is you can develop at any age and still make it.
It's Mulder again. Simpson's got the free hit and he's made the most of that, and that's a glorious strike over the Felsted school stand. He's creamed it over cover all the way for 6, so the over goes from bad to worse for Vian Mulder. Sussex fly along to 138, and John Simpson really isn't hanging about here.
That's an unbelievable shot. I don't think the bowler's done anything wrong there. Sort of nigh on perfect Yorker, and Simpson managing to access sort of that short boundary over extra cover. It's really good batting and showing his experience there. Simpson knowing where he can access, but I think unfortunately as a bowler in T20 there's times where you've just got to accept that the batter's played a good shot, and that's certainly one of those where he's played a brilliant shot, and you've got to park it and just sort of accept that he's played a good one and reset the over and keep coming back, keep trying to take wickets, because ultimately at sort of this situation that's the only way you're going to win the game is being aggressive and being brave.
Comes Mulder again looking to respond. He's come round the wicket and Simpson has hammered him back over his head. That's another 6, and that's John Simpson's half century. He's flown to 51 from just 18 balls. It's been a hell of a knock, and he's really fancying the bowling of Vian Mulder here. Maybe you heard about your injury, Sam, and he's trying to get some revenge, but it's not looking good for Essex at the moment.
Yeah, again, very, very good batting, but I think the way that he's been allowed to play is the groundwork that's been put in from the batters that have gone before him. He's obviously taken the sting out of this chase, but again, you never know in T20 cricket as he advances down the wicket, gets it on the full for a single to long on. I think any batter sort of coming in this situation, you be positive and it either comes off or it doesn't. So yeah, unfortunately for VM, this over has not gone fantastically, but you never know in T20. You get a couple of quick wickets, the game certainly isn't ever done. So you've just got to keep trying to be positive, keep trying to be brave, and keep trying to take wickets. So I think Cole's here obviously been starved with the strike. That might be an option to try and take a wicket.
Here's Mulder, he's gone for 22 from his over so far. Make that 23 as he bowls a wide outside off stump. And he's not happy here, South African. 1.5 overs, none for 32 at the moment.
Yeah, I think that is one thing that bowlers are becoming frustrated by, is the inconsistency in the wide rule here, particularly with the batter shifting around. The wide line should move with the batter, James Cole, stepping there. You should get the wide line, but the umpire deeming that not to be the case. So it is frustrating as a bowler if that wide line doesn't move.
Here is Mulder, and he does close out the over. Is that going to race away to the fence? Yeah, it is. A dive in the deep. But that was timed to perfection by James Coles. Just opened the face at the last moment and steered it through. Backward point, picks up 4. So after 11 overs, Sussex already at 150. Loss of just 2 wickets. John Simpson 52 off 19. James Coles 36 off 18. Sussex require 42 to win from just 54 balls.
Yeah, extremely tough to defend here at Chelmsford under the lights. I think, like you saw there, beating that man in the inner ring, the ball just does race away off this relatively wide square. I think 2 pit players here in Coles and Simpson that do access square of the wicket really well, just using the pace that is on offer here in the outfield to sort of compound those sixes with 4s. I think you see here from Simon a really aggressive play, bringing Benkenstein, the other wrist spinner, into the attack. I think you'll see Simpson here continue to try and build on his momentum, but Benke, a very attacking bowler, I'm sure he can create a chance here.
Here is Benkenstein, and that is skied. John Simpson's gone for another slog sweep. This might land safe, you know. It does. What are the chances of that? We've got 5 fielders converging to try and take the catch, but it's just John Simpson's night by the looks of things. And he gets away with it. And the bowling change nearly works immediately.
Yeah, exactly sort of how you foresaw that ball going. Simpson trying to access his slog sweep, just really unlucky. Good piece of bowling from Benke and just unfortunately falling in the gap. But again, trying to create that chance, which is what you need to do in this situation. So yeah, just got to keep trying and hopefully that goes to hand next time.
Here's Benkenstein again. That's worked up too long on. Just firing a little bit flatter this time from Luke Benkenstein. And they get the single. He's very brave that first ball. He gave it a bit of flight.
Absolutely.
You do have to be brave as a leggy to do that here at Chelmsford, but he nearly got his reward.
Yeah, of course. I think there, you know, as Benke relatively young, but with a good cricket brain, knowing that Simpson's going to come hard, and again probably this ball similar thing.
He is again, sort of fires that in. That goes down the ground as John Simpson, and that's out of our view. But I think that takes 1 bounce and then goes into the fence for 4 runs. So there's no stopping John Simpson at the moment. He's taken a shining to all the Essex bowlers. 57 now from just 21 balls. Sussex require 36 from 51 as here goes Benkenstein again. Simpson goes downtown again. Has he got enough of this? I think he has. Yes, that's gone the distance. Another 6 for the Sussex wicket-keeper. He goes on to 63.
Yeah, I think the one thing I would say here about Simpson's innings is it's probably slightly unusually aggressive. He normally tends to give himself a few balls, but from ball 1 he's come out and tried to be positive. But again, I think that's the start and the base that's allowed him to do that. Should be out here. Skies it straight to Simon Harmer, safest hands in the game, and he's out for extra cover. Good piece of bowling from Benkenstein, and yeah, you never know now. Taking that wicket, very important. So we'll see what happens.
They always say add 2 wickets, don't they? I think even if you did, Sussex would still be in the driving seat, but you've got to start somewhere, and that's good bowling from Luke Benkenstein. As you were saying, Sam, brave bowling, giving it a bit of air. And Simon Harmer, he doesn't drop many. I think I saw him drop 1 in the county championship. was it in the last game? Dropped one at slip, but
Yeah,
really doesn't happen very
rarer
often.
than a snow leopard, I'd say that one.
Absolutely, absolute bucket, Simon
But
Harmer.
very good piece of bowling there from Benkenstein, going slow, wide, attacking that wide line away from Simpson's arc. Obviously, he's been looking to pull it to the leg side, sort of from straight towards cow corner, but going away from his arc, which is something that we try to do as bowlers, whether you're a spinner or a seamer, take it away from that hitting arc, and Benke's done it very, very well there, deserved his wicket that he probably should have got earlier in the over, but just seeing the pattern of the game there, you know that he's going to come pretty aggressively, and I'd expect Allsop to do a similar thing. He's strong sweeping and reverse sweeping, so I think you'll probably see Coles try and bat through here, and Allsop continue to be aggressive.
Another experienced batter comes to the middle as Benkenstein bowls that on his hip, and that's worked into the leg side for a single. So Tom Allsop off the mark straight away, and I'm going to make way for BBC Sussex's Adrian Harms. Going to come and join you again, Sam. Oh, Sam. Sam. Sorry.
No, kick me out. It's fine. I know my place.
Apparently you're off. But
no, that's great.
Great to see you, mate.
Appreciate it.
And
Cheers.
all the best with the recovery. So Essex bowler Sam Cook there, joining us for a stint on the comms. Great to have him with us as Adrian Harms comes to join me. Well, with Sussex in a very, very good position.
Well, it's quite the innings from John Simpson, wasn't it? I was looking here, 63 off 23 balls with 8 sixes. That's a tremendous knock.
He really has taken a shining to all these Essex bowlers, and everything seems to be fine in the middle of his bat. Well, it was until he didn't quite time that one.
Matt Critchley comes in, bowls to Tom Allsop, who plays that one through the leg side. They pick up 1, and that's all they'll take. And I think Sussex will kick themselves all the way back to Hove if they don't win from here.
Yeah,
James.
They're very much the favourites, aren't they? 28 to win off 47.
I didn't write down the score at the end of the 12th over, actually, because that was a big over, wasn't it? We're in.
So there's just been a single, so it was 163 for 3.
Yes, when come Coles, who drills that one out to long off. They've taken 1, they'll come back for a second. Will James Coles. Welcome return to form for James Coles, who very much has played second fiddle here to John Simpson. The partnership between the pair was worth 82. And it came in very quick time as well.
It's not bad if you're playing second fiddle and you're 39 not out
No.
from 20 balls.
Totally. Quickly in again bowls, and Coles leans back and thumps that one away through the offside through extra cover. It could race away for 4 runs. Actually, a good bit of fielding out on the extra cover boundary, but James Coles able to come back for a couple of runs. He goes to 41. Well, Sussex to 168 for 3. Well, we speculated what a good score would be, but you know, suddenly Sussex have attacked this with and some. In comes Critchley, bowls, and Coles just leans on this and plays it gracefully down to long on, picks up a single. Nothing fancy required now from Sussex, really. Just need to pick up the 1s and 2s and see themselves over the line. 23 to win in 44 balls.
As you say, Adrian, if Sussex carried on like this, I think they'd be on about 250, wouldn't they?
Well, that innings from John Simpson was remarkable. Critchley in bowl to Tom Allsop, who hammers that down the ground. Tom Allsop picks up a single. It's his first game of the season for the first 11. He missed out with a calf injury, did Tom. Came and did some commentary with us, and it was really good to see him in one of the county championship games. 170 for 3 brings Coles back on strike. Critchley in a bowl short, and Coles hammers that one, but straight to short extra cover, fielded there by Simon Harmer. It is a dot ball, end of an over, just 7 runs coming off of that over. But Sussex at the end of the 13th over are 170 for 3, with Coles on 42 and Allsop on 3.
They've been fantastic, the visitors, very professional display up to this point. Essex got off to a flyer, but in the middle of the Essex innings, Sussex were able to stem the flow, remove Paul Walter and Michael Pepper, both got half centuries, and then since then they've really been in the driving seat. They came flying out the traps early doors, and then what an innings we've just witnessed from John Simpson. It's always been a thorn in Essex's side. I remember him dominating our bowling attacks as a Sussex Middlesex player as well. As Benkenstein continues, that's just whipped through mid-wicket by Tom Allsop for a single.
That partnership of 82 came off 5 overs and 3 balls. between Simpson and Coles.
Crikey.
That was really going some. I just looked up John Simpson's highest T20 score. Actually, was 84. I was beginning to think he was going to reach that easily.
It's Benkenstein again, and that is lofted down the ground. I think that's going to be cut off by the fielder at long off. It is just a single, but that's all Sussex need. 20 to win from 40 balls. Just 13.2 overs into this innings, 172 for three, and that is launched absolutely huge from Tom Alsop. No messing about. Benkenstein gave it a bit of flight, and he's been absolutely dispatched down the ground. Huge six from Tom Alsop. Sussex batters in a hurry. What do you make of that, Adrian?
Super shot, wasn't it? As I say, hasn't figured this season so far, Tom Alsop. But that's got many of mine. That might have gone into the river, mightn't it? That's gone a long way.
Oh, it wouldn't be far off. We lose lots of balls here at Chelmsford. Just behind us, the river, which runs through Central Park. I remember the day that Chris Gale came here with Somerset. My word!
So they go along there.
One of the longest games I've ever sat and watched, just because of how many times I had to keep going into the river. Here's Luke Benkenstein, bowls that slightly short of a length, and that's clattered to some harm at cover, no run.
I suppose we did say a little earlier, didn't we, that when Essex were 104 without loss after 10 overs, we wondered if they might have just felt that they'd slightly missed an opportunity. Maybe that's the case.
Benkenstein again, bowls straight, and that's played nicely down the ground by Tom Alsop to long off. They pick up a gentle single. Yeah, I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
It is, and you never know. And but certainly Sussex have really attacked from the off.
Benkenstein again, that's slightly short and that's pulled, but it's going to be fielded at deep square leg. But again, that's fine for Sussex. That's all they need. They can do this in singles, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely. End of the over, 180 for three. So 10 coming off of the over. As James was saying, 12 to win in 36 balls. And Sussex will be very pleased with their night's work.
Well, and that will just wipe out their points deficit. As
Yeah,
you say, they
yes,
come
it
into
will.
this at a disadvantage compared to all the rest of the teams. They're on -2, so they'll pick up their 4 points here.
Yeah, and indeed with the championship as well, where they began on -12. Actually, were not for those 12-point deduction, they would actually be just second, I think, 1 point behind the leaders. In comes Critchley, and Coles eases that one down the ground. Doesn't time it actually, James Coles, but he picks up a single.
Yeah, were you worried, Adrian, at the start of the county championship, or the start of the season in general?
I was, because I knew that they can't bring anybody in, and if they were to get any injuries, which they have in the championship, they've been playing pretty much the same side. Critchley in bowls to Alsop, who plays this firmly to extra cover. There is no run, but there was just a feeling around the squad, because so much is going to happen at Hove over the next few years with contracts, etc. And I think there's a bit of a feeling amongst this side that maybe this is their last chance altogether. Critchley in bowls to Alsop, who plays this firmly down the ground to long on and picks up a single. He goes to 12, 182 for three. But in the championship, they look very tired in the last game down at Somerset this week. And I know a lot of sides are tired, but they just haven't been able to bring anybody in. And with Dom Goodman injured and Sean Hunt injured in the bowling ranks, it's been the same bowlers really. Critchley in bowls to Coles, who absolutely hammers that down the ground. That's a super shot by James Coles, who's going to win the 1.5 century, and it's a welcome return to form for James Coles, who's struggled with the bat this season, but has certainly shown a liking for the white ball game tonight. He goes to 49. That's a lovely shot.
Yeah, he's been magnificent, hasn't it? Sometimes all it takes is one innings to come right back into your prime.
And there he is. It's half century for James Coles. Plays the ball straight down the ground to long off. And that's 50 for James Coles in 28 balls. Raises his bat. Well, he's such a good player. You felt it was just a matter of time before he made runs, but it will do his confidence a world of good. And he picked up a couple of wickets as well. 2 for 32. Sussex needing 5 to win. Critchley in bowls. Also cuts that one away. That's going to race away. Well, a good bit of fielding actually. Very good bit of fielding. Out on the backward point boundary. Keeps it to 1. End of the over. Sussex up 188 for 3. Needing 4 to win. That's the end of the 15th over.
And you wonder if these Sussex batters will be looking to finish this in style. I mean, they've won at such a canter here. Of course, it's not done yet. 4 to win off 30, but this is going to help their net run rate as well, which often comes into play in the T20 Blast. Obviously, we're in the new format now, 3 different groups and a couple less games than before, just to ease the pressures of the playing schedule, which I think a lot of the players will be quite pleased about. It's going to be Simon Harmer to bowl, coming to replace Luke Benkenstein from this Alistair Cook end. Round the wicket to Tom Alsop. Just worked into the leg side, it's just going to be 1 run. So Essex will have to regroup. They go again next against Hampshire.
Is that here or?
No, away.
Oh, right, okay.
And then
That's on Tuesday.
Tuesday, and then they've got Kent and then Derbyshire, because obviously as the new
Yes, as the new formats. Yeah.
They've got one Derbyshire in the northern group, and then Northants in the central group. And that's a wicket for Simon Harmer. That's just clipped to a short mid-wicket by James Cole's sort of wicket from nowhere, really. But an excellent diving catch. I think it might be Matt Critchley, it was, with a top piece of fielding. Simon Harmer has something to show for his efforts tonight. So Sussex not quite over the line just yet. 189 for 4 now. James Coles departs for a very well made 50.
I think he'll be slightly disappointed to get out like that, James. Really, the game was there to win, but nonetheless, a welcome return to form from James Coles, who's been out of sorts with the bat this season, but really in excellent form tonight. And he and John Simpson have really put responsible for putting Sussex in this good position. Not to forget, of course, Daniel Hughes, who was very good at the top of the order, making 44 in very quick time as well.
Yeah, he would be disappointed not to have the red inker.
No, I agree. No, yeah, Daniel Hughes 44 and 25 balls, getting Sussex off to a good start. So it might be left to Jack Leaning to see Sussex over the line.
Always nice to get the winning runs. If he can get there, Essex have the field spread, but there's a couple of men in for the catchers. Just sort of taken by Matt Critchley. That's bowled, back of a length, and that beats everyone. That's going to be a bye, I believe. So it's fielded by Paul Walter.
I think you're right.
At short fine leg, yeah, it's going to be a bye. So Sussex then move on to 190, 2 to win, and they've only got 27 balls to do it, so need to put their foot down. Simon Harmer comes in round the wicket to Alsop. Alsop just steers that round the corner. That's going to be a single. So the scores are level. Alsop on to 15. Sussex 191 for 4 in the 16th over. They've made it. They've equalled Essex's total at a canter. Very impressive display from the visitors.
Yes, it has been, and I think Sussex will be very pleased with the way that I think the way they sort of dragged it back, got themselves back into the game when Kent had got off to such a good start. Essex had got up to such a good start. Got Kent on Monday.
On the mind. Here's Harmer around the wicket, bowling. Jack Leaning, and has he got him?
Yeah, bowled him.
Huge appeals. No, Leaning's.
Oh, I thought he bowled him.
Leaning's
I saw the bails come
I think
off.
it was an appeal for a stumping, very quick. Well,
yes.
Michael Pepper's hands were so quick.
Well, I presumed he'd bowled him there.
Yeah, I thought he had as well. It's just gone straight through him. Simon Harmer shakes his head as he walks back past the umpire. Here he comes again, round the wicket. Bowls Leaning. Leaning goes down the gun. Has he got enough on this? He has. It evades Charlie Bennett at long off, and some boos from the Essex fans in front of us. But Sussex have the victory. They've done it in 16 overs, 192 for 4. It's been an excellent, all-round display from the visitors. Essex will have to lick their wounds and go again on Tuesday night. They started very nicely after being put in to bat. Michael Pepper and Paul Walter both getting half centuries, but then the innings rather stalled. A cameo from Luke Benkenstein and another supporting act from Noah Thane, but you felt that 191 at the innings break might be slightly below par here. What is a very good batting surface at Chelmsford, and Sussex, well, they've won at a canter in the end. They'll be delighted with that. Their points deficit is eliminated in the first match. Adrian, your thoughts on that victory?
Well, I think Sussex will be delighted with the way that it's gone. We did speculate from 104 without loss in 10 overs whether maybe Essex hadn't quite got enough runs, but Sussex attacked it from the start. I think credit to Daniel Hughes, who got Sussex off to a good start, but then probably the innings of the evening coming from John Simpson. I mean, that was a wonderful innings. 63 in 23 balls with 8 sixes and 4 fours, and important for Sussex to get off to a win, because negative points at the start of the competition, they'll feel they're right in the competition. But no, it's only the first game, and there's a long way to go. Just a big thank you to yourself, James, and Victoria, and to Sam as well. It's always a great pleasure to come to Chelmsford, and no difference tonight. It's been great fun.
Well, no, thank you, Adrian. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks to Victoria, Polly, and of course to Sam Cook, the Essex fast bowler, who is recovering from what we think is a fractured wrist, so we wish him a very speedy recovery. But that is that from us here at Chelmsford. Essex have been beaten. Sussex win. They knocked off 192 in 16 overs. Won by 6 wickets, so off to a great start, and we will be back with ball-by-ball commentary for you. Essex against Hampshire next Tuesday evening. But good night from us at BBC Essex on Chelmsford. You can listen to post-match reaction, which Victoria's going to go and get now, on BBC Sounds. That'll be with you later on this evening. Good night.